All right, welcome to the Sarcasm and Liberty live stream, everyone. So far tonight with me, I got Amos Joseph and I got Pat. We're gonna be discussing a few different things. It's gonna Trump versus Amazon, the Disney princess tweet from Planned Parenthood, and some more David Hogg bullshit, which just never gets old. So I thought first, if you guys are okay with it, we could start with the Planned Parenthood tweet, if you didn't mind. If you guys want to discuss something else first, let me know where you want to start out.
Well, I first want to call you out on calling me a chink yesterday.
Did you see my tweet where I'm like, man, I am never going to live this down? Did you see that, Pat? I was trying to. What was I trying to say? Was I trying to say check it out?
And you were like, chink it out the stream, guys, and I'm like,
oh man, yeah, that was fantastic. Great stuff happens when you're live, right?
See, I'm only half offended, so I don't know. I mean, all I saw was there was a tweet. They had a couple of like the Disney princesses, and basically they said 2 out of every single Disney princess statistically has had an abortion.
Well, there's a different one that I'm referring to, and
okay.
I tweeted about it earlier, and here's what I'll read it to you if you guys haven't. Let me see if I can find it because I tweeted a whole bunch of shit tonight. So, yeah, okay, here it goes. It was a whole list of stuff that says we need a Disney princess who's had an abortion. We need a Disney princess who's pro-choice. We need a Disney princess who's an undocumented immigrant. We need a Disney princess who's actually a union worker. We need a Disney princess who's trans. Now, first impression, I could give a fuck if a Disney princess is trans. Really don't care. I don't feel like we need one, but whatever. Needing a Disney okay, but here's the thing. Well, I think the majority of the stuff on this list is not something you can say we need to have in our society. There's not a single one thing on that list that could be achieved without being politicized heavily. Well, and it would no longer become entertainment. It would just become a political point.
Yeah, that's the left's whole playbook is to politicize everything.
Yeah. I mean, like, I just don't think you could do it. And I mean, as much as Disney might want to, like, not politicize it. I mean, look at Sleeping Beauty. Not Sleeping. Fuck. Sorry. I've been princesses all night. Beauty and the Beast. The live action one. Now, all they had that fucking with Josh Gad, and he was in it, and like there was like probably like 4 total seconds of footage that only hinted that maybe he's gay. And all these leftist articles are running like Disney Disney has the very first like openly gay character and blah blah. I'm like it just there was article after article about it. And when I saw the movie, I was just like, that's nothing. Like they hardly showed anything. It got politicized so heavily. It was insane. And like to the point that I mean like people were like wanting to boycott the movie because it's stupid. First of all, it's stupid to boycott a movie if you think it's going to have a gay character. That's just retarded. But it was so like politicized at this point. But I mean, like anybody any reasonable person who would watch that movie would have been like, that had nothing to do with anything. It was barely even noticeable. I didn't even see it at first. It had to be pointed out to me. The whole like him dancing with a guy at the end of the movie, and that's not even. I danced with a guy before as a joke, so. It's not something that like, okay, he's obviously gay. Can't even say that. Yeah. But, it's insane. Like there's nothing on that list that couldn't and wouldn't be heavily politicized. Can you really say that those are things we need to have in movies right now?
Here's I think here's the big thing with that.
Go ahead.
Politics don't politicizing things. The left really doesn't understand is. Think it's not that we need those.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we're not in a place where that is gonna like. For example, like so you look at like obviously like in terms of social progress, you see where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
obviously racism is not a thing anymore. I mean, it's a thing, but it's not like
Institutionalized.
right. It's not institutionalized,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So you look at kind of the timeline. Okay, the Civil Rights Act was the last major like actual institutional change to combat racism, integration, and stuff like that. How long ago was that? 50 years, almost 60 years.
Yeah.
Now we don't sit. Now we just have movies that just naturally are being produced. TV shows are naturally being produced that are either an all-black cast, a mixture, or a white cast. That just, oh, okay, a black guy is playing whatever. Will Smith plays a superhero. Blade plays a vampire slayer. There's all these different things. They're just normal. There's a market for it, and it just happens.
Yeah, and
forcing that.
Yeah.
Is the big thing is if you force it, people are actually going to have more of a backlash. Whereas I think the reality is it's probably going to be at least a decade before we just kind of, oh, hey, there's a guy that's trans and it's just a normal part of the movie because it's become normal. Mm-hmm. When you try to force it and just say, oh, the thing with the left is they want these normalizations to be forced instead of just gradually.
Well, does that become normal then when it's forced too? I feel like that's part of the thing I'm always saying is, like they make a big deal about there being a gay character or a trans character, and I'm like, if you want this to feel normal, stop making such a big deal about it. Just let it be a character. It doesn't have to be a gay character. It doesn't have to be a trans character. It doesn't have to be a, identity politic label character. It's just a character. Just let it be the character that it is. Let a story unfold naturally without any forced political agenda to it, And when you start doing stuff like that, you're gonna find that people become more accepting to that. I recently, because I had this discussion with one of my Twitter followers about, we were talking about movies, and he brought up Power Rangers. So I went back and I rewatched the that more recent Power Rangers movie, the remake thing, and to be honest, I actually really enjoyed that. It was very nostalgic for me. It was a lot of fun. Now, I do remember leading up to it, there was this huge fuss about one of the characters being a lesbian, and there was like 5 seconds of dialogue that only hinted at she wasn't sure what her sexuality was. Not even that she was or wasn't, she just wasn't sure, which seems completely reasonable for a teenager too, to be like doubting themselves in certain areas. There was people calling for boycotts. There were people calling for let's hyper support this film no matter what because of this ideology. And reality, like the story had it's not part of the story. In that character, like that moment would have been so much more accepted if it would have just been allowed to play out naturally without being politicized. Mm-hmm. Like that's where I tend to stand on this stuff. I feel like politicizing these things about characters tends to actually hurt your movement more than it tends to actually help it.
Well, you guys have seen Star Trek, right?
Which one?
So you guys know about in the original series with Shatner.
Well, the concept there, yeah.
You guys know about the episode with the
kiss.
Uhura? Okay. There was another episode in Star Trek Deep Space Nine where they did a similar thing. What it was basically there was one of the main characters in the show. She's what's called a Trill. Basically, she's an alien with sort of a symbiote inside her, and the symbiote basically moves from host to host, taking all the memories and experiences with them to basically make this new person that is not just themselves, but also they're a mixture with the symbiote that they have. So they basically they're trying to create like a better person.
Okay.
Kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
One of the things in the culture, though, is that if you're ever married or associated with someone in a deep way, like romantically or whatever, you cannot reassociate in your next host life.
Okay.
So there's a part in the show where basically just so happens one of the hosts switched from a man to a woman, and the other one switched from a woman to another woman. and they met each other and found out who each other were, and they were risking reassociating. And there's like a scene where these two girls basically kiss.
Okay.
And there was this whole thing. Basically, it was the second most controversial episode in Star Trek.
Yeah.
But the way they did it, is they never like shoved it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of integrated, like, aliens have this interesting concept, and it just happens.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's letting the story be the story, letting the story drive the narrative, not a political agenda drive the narrative. I feel like that's
obviously it is social commentary, and there obviously is an agenda. But the way you present your agenda, the way you present a story, to make it a story, to challenge the norm. There's a difference between making a story where the audience just sees a story versus a story where the audience sees the commentary very like blatantly shoved in their face, where it's like, it's like, a kid walks into, a typical Disney sitcom show and walks in, I'm a fag. It's like,
it wants to make me spit out my drink.
but just does that, and then like why do you have to do it? He just comes in, maybe has a little bit of a whatever, or maybe he's just a normal, like seemingly normal kid, doesn't have all the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Make it a story, don't make it an agenda.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like as a writer, I take great exception to like TV shows, movies, comic books, any story, anything that requires like some actual thought, where they let the agenda drive the story, as opposed to like, if a character is gay, totally fine, let the character be gay. But is a character gay because like because they're trying to fit an agenda, or because it fits the story? Like I had written a screenplay where like there was one like main gay character, and the fact that the character was gay was like essential to the story, like very essential to the story. Like there were parts of the plot that were tied to the fact that he was gay, like mostly for joke's sake, because there was just some stupid stuff. Like I had, like when I was going to film it, I had somebody, like an actual gay person, that was like totally on board for it, because like the commentary behind it was like, like actually was very supportive of like homosexual people, very supportive, but it wasn't forceful about it, and it was comical, and it was fun, and it was like the way the character was written was, he was just a person. He wasn't, like when you watch the movie, you didn't necessarily like constantly see him and think of him as the gay character. You just thought of him as a character. And I feel like, because I don't go through watching a show and thinking of every character as the heterosexual character. I think of them just as a character. And as soon as you feel like you need to force an identity like that on a character, it screws up that kind, like what can be a good story. It screws up the writing, and then what you're falling into is an agenda.
Look at that. They put a token main character in there, and it completely destroyed the fucking storylines.
You're breaking up a little bit.
You're roboting, man.
Yeah, you're roboting a bit. I know you said you're having trouble with your internet. I think it's still messing with you. Mike,
I lost all my fucking tab.
Yeah, Mike. I think Magnus is going to try to hop back in. Mike, thanks for joining us. I know you said you're going to be a little bit late, but you weren't even that late at all. So we're perfect. Just to get you caught up, we were talking about the Disney. I don't know if you saw the Disney princess tweet from Planned Parenthood. I think Keystone.
I did, and I thought it was the stupidest thing ever.
Right. That's what we're discussing.
I don't understand why you need a Disney princess that fits. I mean, somebody was telling me about this the other day. Like, identity politics has become a thing where it's like you basically go through a checklist of all these different things, and like the more boxes you check, the more oppressed you are in society. So it's almost like they're doing the same thing, where they're making this checklist of all these different things, and how many boxes can we check, and can we make a Disney princess out of this?
Yeah.
Can we make an oppressed Disney princess that all these little kids watch a movie about and they look up to, and then they all think they want to be like this oppressed Disney
They want to
princess.
be oppressed. That's what you're gonna do. It was funny because for a long time, like there was always like everybody talked about how Disney whitewashed everything, and I'm like, until Tangled with Rapunzel, it had been quite a while since there was a white Disney princess. Disney had made it a point to go very far out of, and they did it pretty naturally. I mean, they did it within the settings, of where these stories took place. It didn't feel like they were forcing racial identity upon these characters. They did it very naturally. So I'm like, could it be possible that Disney could do a trans Disney princess without it being forced? Hell yes.
Well, it depends
But
on
you
the
need the right writers.
character.
Voiced by Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the point is, it can't
depends
be done.
a little bit on the age of the character. If it's a young princess type character, like a lot of them are actually a lot younger than they look.
Yeah, here's the only part where I take exception to the idea of a trans and like a trans princess, and like I'm pretty supportive of the trans community. I have no issue with it. I mean, I used to be a person who had like problems with it, and honestly, I've come around. Eyes been open, and I'm like, I was an ass. I used to be an ass about the whole thing, but I'm pretty supportive of it. My only problem is I don't like the idea of kids under a certain age thinking that like, it's fine to like be confused about, because I think most people who are trans and actually transition had an inkling when they were young. But also there's this idea of like,
there's always some confusion.
Yeah,
kids have that.
How many kids would you be planting the idea? Like that's where I'm like, it has to be done very carefully. You don't want to plant this idea in kids' heads that they're in the wrong body if they're, if they're genuinely not.
Disney will fuck it up.
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm very fucking afraid for it.
Yeah, Disney's not.
They're probably gonna get a Riley Dennis type person and like, okay, you do the script. I said no. Take a Maya or Blair White, someone who's clearly having brain.
But I mean, like this, it would need the right writer. It would need the right track to like a trans Disney princess. I feel like it had to be handled very carefully. But I am totally for the idea. I just don't want it to be a forced idea. I want it to be like something that could be naturally done, where the character being trans, she's not trans just because they just slap that label on a Disney princess. It's because this character is trans. And I feel like that's a problem because they're like, well, there's this whole thing of like Frozen 2, they want Elsa to be a lesbian. And I'm like, okay, well, you're taking a pre-existing character and you're slapping a label on her. Yeah. Slapping a label on her. You're like,
there were hints of it in the first movie, and I'm like, okay.
Nothing. Like, well, okay, how many times did Elsa interact with another woman that wasn't her sister? If you're trying to imply there were hints of it in the first movie, you're also implying some incestual.
Although there are theories that is done by this film theory made a theory that they're actually not sisters.
Oh, gee, but that doesn't make it better. That doesn't make the kiss between Luke and Leia any less creepy because they didn't know they were siblings. Like. You can't just like do a retraction later and be like, well, because they're not actually brother, like sister and sister. It's not gross if they're attracted to each other. Like, no, it's a little gross.
Well, even so, if they have it, let them have, but it's for kids. So I'm like, let's step away. If it was an adult movie, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is
stay away from this shit.
Amos, what you had to say?
I was gonna say. So what you're saying is I should ditch my screenplay for a live action reboot of Pocahontas starring Elizabeth Warren.
I think you just gave me an idea for a meme, man.
It's very interesting because this revolves around the probably one of the negatives of capitalism is the whole victim culture has been corporatized, if like per se, I guess. Planned Parenthood is a corporate victim culture profiteer, basically. They're trying to infiltrate another market, which is Disney's movie market, and I think they're doing it for the purposes of creating more victims because that's their consumer.
Well, and that's part of the problem is like when you're doing this stuff to force an agenda rather than to just like promote more acceptance, you're not gonna like get the desired results, to be honest. I mean, look at Marvel. Marvel Comics is a great, great like example of this of a company going out of their way to appease social justice warriors and feeling market results of that. Like the market result of Marvel going out of their way to appease social justice warriors was a drastic drop in sales. Nobody wanted to read it anymore.
The characters' fault. The characters on itself are fine in technicality. It's most the writers they hired for it were something so abysmally bad.
Yeah, look, well, I mean, it's just
they wrote the character in this way, and that's an example I take always with the new Wasp character. Like in the Adventures comic, she was a normal type, hyperactive little girl, with a bit of a fangirl. Like, okay, fine, it worked within the story, but in the old comics, she becomes an obnoxious fucking bitch. Even when they take Moon Girl in the old comics, Moon Girl is a smart and intelligent and pretty still polite girl. But when he was imported in the Wasp comics, he was a really stiff fucking bitch out of fucking nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck did you do with the character? Well, no, that's clearly the writer's fault.
It goes back to what I was saying: is when you're writing a story and you're slapping labels on a character rather than worrying about the actual quality of the story. When you're writing for an agenda rather than writing for entertainment. Your net result is not going to be entertainment. It's going to be your agenda, and it's going to be painfully obvious, and it's going to be off-putting to pretty much anybody who has any sense of reality. You know, they're going to see what it is.
Well, also it's a problem because if you slap a label like trans, or let me see what the tweets is, trans, pro-choice, unless the story is specifically that they overcome an obstacle to become this label.
Yes.
There's no character development. There's no character growth.
That's a great point. Like that is like what I was saying, going back to like finding a way to write it where it's about the character, not the agenda. Like that's a good way to write it about it, where they're overcoming something. You know, if it's you know, I'm sorry, but like, and I'm not going to I don't want to get into the abortion debate, but I have a hard time believing Disney can write a story where a princess gets an abortion and the whole thing wraps up positively without it being an in-your-face message about abortion. Because here's the thing, right below it says, when I'm talking about how you're like, you know, these are people who want writing for an agenda. It goes to, we need a Disney who's had an abortion, and what's the next thing below that? Who's pro-choice. There's no option for an opposing view. There's no option for like how do other people think? How else does society interpret this? We want this, and we want it to be supporting our view, and that's how this agenda works.
Here's an idea.
I thought it's still very creepy that the Planned abortion thing Planned Parenthood wants to have a princess with abortion, because most of the princesses are underage.
Yeah, they're under 18.
Some
Most
of them
princesses are under 18.
Early teens.
So here's a new Disney show.
Very fucking creepy to want that for a fucking with a kid.
Go ahead, Amos.
The sweet life of Melania and Trump. Well, sorry, Donald and Melania. Wouldn't that, I mean, you want to talk oppressed.
How are you not writing for Disney, Amos? I swear to God.
Well, I saw a comment to the tweet, and I was like, they probably had a Disney princess like that, but you aborted it.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. That's hardcore. I love that.
Donald Trump could be the trans Disney princess.
Here's the one. Now, I can see somebody with an agenda sitting down and writing most of these princesses from this tweet. A princess who's actually a union worker. I don't even understand what the fuck, like, where these guys' mindsets are. It's a princess who's a union worker.
They just advocated for child labor again.
Right? Yeah. Like seriously, what kind of a story do you have? Like, it's either like she doesn't know she's a princess and becomes one, which is my God, how many times has that story been done? And do we really want to go again just to force a pro-union agenda?
If she's a union worker becoming a princess, isn't that like every socialist's worst nightmare? The union worker that broke free.
Damn, Amos, you are on fire tonight, man.
Yeah.
It's the Mountain Dew.
How about let's touch on the we did a Disney princess who's an undocumented immigrant. Again, this is a thing that doesn't make any sense in a story of where you would actually have a princess. The only way you can really do that kind of story is if you're forcing the agenda, and then if you're putting an agenda before a story, you're not going to get an entertaining story.
Well, how would that work anyway?
Exactly. I would love to know that.
You have someone who comes from royalty who is all of a sudden an illegal immigrant. First of all, why are they leaving where they're from?
Well, she can become
write a story about that.
She can go get married to the prince. That is what the.
What about Pocahontas 2, where she comes to America? Was she documented then?
If she was a typical white Disney princess and she's an illegal immigrant somewhere, doesn't that make her some sort of like a colonist?
Right. Well, they clearly make it a minority princess in that case, because but then like all the more. Here's the thing too: is if you and here's just wild guess. The first thing that comes to your head, if you had to guess that if you heard Disney is making a princess movie where she's an undocumented immigrant, what race do you think she would be?
Black?
Hispanic. Yeah.
She would be Hispanic, no doubt in my mind.
Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, and then it would be so.
Or she'd be from the Middle East. Middle East is either an option.
Or Middle East. That's a good point. Too.
Yeah, if she's a European princess.
I bet you that she will come from somewhere like she'll probably come from somewhere like Guatemala or maybe Panama. But throughout the entire movie, she's gonna keep telling people, "I'm not Mexican." Right. Because every white person who's going to call her a Mexican and tell her quit speaking Mexican because Mexican is a freaking language.
Middle East, they can literally say she's a Muslim, and you get oppression points for that one as well.
But
she could think about this like a Syrian refugee that becomes a princess in the UK.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: Disney's already done their Arab princess. They might not do it again. They already had Jasmine. They might not do it again.
But Syrian's a little bit different, though.
I'm just saying. In the eyes, think in the mind of a Disney executive. Do you really think they see a difference? Unless there's dollar signs.
They would do a Disney princess in a full-on burqa.
Probably, yeah. If they thought they would make money off of it, I'm sure.
And then the plot twist at the end is they take off the burqa and it's like a trans woman. Also a union worker.
A trans woman who's having an abortion, which wouldn't even make sense. But.
Three birds, one stone.
Okay. You know who would be the genie? Bernie Sanders.
Okay. Now, going back to this tweet, since you guys mentioned some of the crossing over a little bit, I'm actually looking for an artist who will draw me a picture of a Disney princess who is every single thing on that list. And I'm going to find the artist that will do it, and I'm going to pay for it, and I'm going to get it done. There is going to be a Disney princess that is everything on this list, and I'm going to tweet it to that Planned Parenthood site so they can see how horrific that looks. What's that?
It's like make them draw a drawing and have them pay for it.
No, I'm gonna. Yeah, if I'm going to be a socialist, then sure, yeah.
Actually, after they posted that, the main Planned Parenthood site tried to walk it back, meaning, we're not associated with them. They're just this tiny Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
The official Planned Parenthood of Keystone is not associated with Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I'm sure, totally.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Think about it rationally, though. Going back to the undocumented immigrant one, thinking about it rationally, how do you do that? You either have you have to have a Disney princess that is not in her native land. Who the fuck is going to care if she's a princess then? How does it even become a princess story?
It's like
She will
coming to
marry
America
the prince
Disney
or the
edition.
princess, whatever, in the other country. Because like,
but then she would be an undocumented
she becomes a
immigrant if
princess
she's.
because she marries one.
But
She's
if
not
she's
born a
married, though,
princess.
it's just like there's no like rational, logical, reasonable way to write the story where it's both entertaining and supporting an agenda. It's just not feasible when your agenda is that retarded.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you can't do it.
Does anyone remember which like film company produced the movie Coming to America?
Oh god.
No, I don't.
I was like, is this going to be Coming to America Disney Princess Edition or something?
Eddie Murphy.
I mean, that would be what makes sense. And of course, like to fill in, you have your antagonist. Your antagonist is going to be like Jafar, whatever his name. No, the guy from Aladdin, the bad guy.
Aladdin. Yeah, that's Jafar.
Yeah.
Jafar, yeah. You'll have like a Trump-looking Jafar.
Oh my gosh.
But basically, some blonde-haired,
Yeah,
kind of somewhat
and
fat.
orange.
By the way, Paramount is who did Coming to America, just to satisfy anybody's curiosity.
No,
Is it
they
all
distributed it. The actual production company was Eddie Murphy Productions.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was looking at the wrong thing.
And maybe have his own movie
Good
production.
catch.
Huh.
Good catch. I just saw that Eddie Murphy Productions. Holy shit! We
Which
looked at
makes
the wrong
sense.
thing.
Who produced? Here.
Eddie Murphy had his own production. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be
Well, yeah,
surprised.
Beverly Hills
A lot of
Cop.
shitty movies. Yeah. I mean, he made some great. Okay, here's the thing. Eddie Murphy made some great movies. He made some super shitty movies too, though.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
That's what
But
every
see-
comedy actor. Look at Jim Carrey. He had some excellent fucking movies, but had some really shitty ones as well.
to be honest, I
Never
can't.
made any
I
political
can't
movies, though.
stand Jim Carrey anymore. I used to love Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
But he is
he
so
becomes
obnoxious
a
now.
right the fuck now. He's like if I talk about he wants to have kids with Emma Stone so they can be really cute and really old at the same time. Or some bullshit.
He's
Well, that was a while
so
ago,
creepy
though.
as fuck.
Does
Have you
anybody
noticed
notice
this
Got
kind of
invested.
Have you noticed
No.
this kind of trend with these celebrities? It kind of started before Trump's election. They kind of started, showing off that they're on the left and they've taken up these stances and all these different things. But it just seems like ever since Trump won that election, all of these leftist celebrities have just gone into like full-on meltdown mode. I mean, they are all just losing their minds. Like, did you see? I think it was either today or yesterday. Chelsea Handler was trying to make an anti-gun stance, and she just made herself look like an idiot because somebody said something about her armed security, and she said, "My armed guards don't have semi-automatic weapons." I think they do. I don't think they have bolt-action rifles.
To be fair, Chelsea Handler's default setting is stupid. So
True.
it's hard for her to go outside of that, but that is hilarious. I've not heard of that.
Well-
I cannot. Hey, Amos, does Brooke want to come on? Can he? He just liked the stream on Twitter. Invite him if you can. Let me know. I'll bring him on if you can.
He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Okay, that's fine.
Because he's he's usually in the UK now. He's in Trinidad because he's taking care of family stuff. We're really trying to reach out to Happy Supremacy because they wanted us on since they were on our stream. So,
Yeah, they had somebody on tonight. I'm hoping they might have a chance to pop on. Who was it?
Stan the Man.
Okay, I saw some tweets about it today, and I'm like,
It was completely retarded at doing it. And there was some fucking idiot who didn't watch Supergirl, but go off by some fucking articles who claim that Supergirl is a completely regressive show, despite the fact that it fucking isn't.
okay, here's the thing. When I first watched Supergirl first season, I didn't like it because it was too like girl power for me. Like it was like, oh my god, she's a girl, and I was like, people are more blown away by the fact that she's a girl than a fucking alien.
Oh, so
it was insane.
Because it's a female version of Superman. That's
I'm watching.
It's gotten better.
Smallville, by
It's
the way.
gotten better. Somebody said, Amos, go ahead.
Oh, because I remember last night we were talking. I'm watching Smallville, and they had a few episodes with Supergirl in it. And all I could see, because it's on Hulu, and you can comment on the bottom. There's like a Facebook plug in.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, yeah.
So I'm looking at this. Everyone's talking about how like, oh, Supergirl was so sexualized in the show, and it's like, well,
What?
she totally was in the comics. I mean, it's just, I mean, but she was still a badass though.
How was she sexualized in the show? She was so unsexualized. Like her outfit, like they put stockings on her.
In the Smallville edition.
You know
her.
what? Like I told you, I haven't seen Smallville yet, so I
Well,
can't comment on that.
She's basically
Yeah.
just like
Power Girl's
blonde
outfit.
girl.
That's a very
Okay. Question though for Amos: was she more or less sexualized than she is in the comics?
I honestly don't. I mean, I don't know much about the comics.
Okay, just think of the first comic book image that pops in your head of Supergirl, and then go off of that.
Well, there's a lot of different versions, so.
Most of them have a midriff and no stockings between the skirt and the boots.
Let me pull this up here.
I can't keep having Power.
I'm
Girl
sure if you
stuff.
Google it, like just Google Supergirl comic book, and a lot of the images will look very sexualized. But to be fair, most women in comic books are. It's just, but also like because people complain about that, I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm sure all the men superheroes with their giant fucking muscles aren't like sexualized at all.
If you guys look over here,
Okay, that's what she looked like.
That's the Supergirl in
She's not
Smallville.
sexualized.
Well, I mean, there were a couple.
No, I'm looking at the pictures up front. She's still like, I'm still not seeing it.
Well, you see her stomach.
Well,
you actually see her stomach. Can you go to that picture? It looks like there's a picture where you maybe can see her stomach. Like,
well, this is like, I mean,
I don't know how to. That's the one I was talking about. You can't even fucking see anything there.
Let's see here.
Is that midriff or is that like clothing there?
One sec.
I like the thing where she looks like she's got a jacket instead of a. Okay, that's midriff. You can, but still, that's like a little bit of skin.
There was like a couple episodes where like this is how she usually dressed. Like, so there were a few episodes where she was actually doing a lot of
She kind of looked more Power Girl for some reason.
Well, she was doing some
she
was doing plenty of fan service.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a comparison of the two of them.
It's not even that bad. The skirt's the same length. The biggest thing I could see is there's a little bit of midriff, and she doesn't have the stockings.
Right. So yeah, they basically did a few episodes where she was doing some like beauty pageants in Smallville and stuff. So she's like in bikinis and stuff, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" It's like, well, like, and this was pre like full on SJW because I think the last season ended in like 2012.
Oh, I'm sure Smallville now, like that, just that outfit now, people would have been fucking outraged, like ridiculously outraged by shit.
I was surprised to hear they used the term hate crime in one of the first seasons, but it was
really?
like. They use the word hate crime to describe because, like, so the whole premise of the beginning of the show is basically like, you know, Superman comes, Clark Kent crashes. He still does like throughout the whole show he doesn't know how to fly, but he knows all his other abilities. It's kind of like the last big thing is becoming Superman is he can fly. But anyways, there's all the green kryptonite, you know, that it's like kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the beginning of the show, the whole thing is basically the green kryptonite like hurts him, but it like interacts with humans and gives them powers and stuff.
Okay.
So like throughout that, how that like ties into everything is shit, I lost my train of thought.
No, how many of you that aren't comic book fans right now just like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I'm just curious. I'm a huge comic book nerd. I'm like, the whole reason we're doing this stream tonight is because I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to be out of town all weekend for a Comic-Con. I'm actually moving the Sunday streams with me and Jason to Monday because of that. But yeah, I'm wondering because like when and Madness knows this too. Like if I get into comic book stuff because like when I did my stream with HAPA Supremacy, he like had commented a couple questions and I just went off on this fucking tangent with comic book stuff. Like,
I got my train of thought back.
Go ahead, man.
Green kryptonite makes these people have powers. So there was an episode where they basically there's like people that are hunting for these humans with abilities, the metahumans and stuff, and they call it like hate crimes.
Nice, dude. That actually sounds really interesting. That makes me think of the X-Men and stuff. Yeah,
but like that. But yeah, it was like in a proper context. It wasn't like there was like one episode.
It seems like it's able to do social commentary without being politicized. That's what that sounds like. And I like it.
Yeah, it's like when you kind of like people like I remember way back in my more like religious fundamentalist kind of days, people were like, "Oh, you know, X-Men is like a propaganda for like making gay being okay." And I was like, superpowers. People can fly. There's laser vision.
Some representative for people who were oppressed. That's why a lot of people were like, now, like, why the fuck are the mutants still oppressed? Nobody's oppressed anymore.
Here's the thing, though. Like when X-Men first came out,
keep them that way.
Yeah, when X-Men first came out, the whole like gay rights thing wasn't a thing. It was about racial tension. It had nothing to do with gay rights. That's become more of a thing now because Brian Singer is gay, and that's why some people are making that connection now. Which I'm like, you know what?
Gay stuff was already since the 90s, at least. Yeah. I know that in the 90s nobody was talking about.
X-Men date back before that. I mean, X-Men took their root in the 90s with Chris Claremont
and shit like that. So they kind of connect. There were some people complaining like, why are any of the original X-Men characters like black or gay? And that's why one is like,
when they made Ice, when Brian,
like, why the fuck do you make him gay? It makes no fucking logical sense. Why the fuck he turned gay?
When Brian Michael Bendis turned Iceman gay for no fucking reason, I was done.
Hey, Green Lantern is gay.
I don't care if people are gay, but if a solid character
is a woman, it's a different Green Lantern. It's not the same Green Lantern, so I don't give a fuck.
If a character is consistently heterosexual throughout his entire history, and then there's some weird timeline thing, and then all of a sudden he becomes gay because of that, fuck that writer. Fuck Brian Michael Bendis. I used to like you.
I don't give a fuck.
I hate you now.
What about?
There is literally an alternate timeline where Wolverine and Heracles are in a gay relationship. I don't give a fuck because it's an alternate timeline.
Yeah, it's alternate timeline. Who cares?
Would there be like a copyright issue if they had like a female Iron Maiden?
They already have a female Iron Man. She's like a fucking teenager. No, and they still call her Iron Man. She's still called fucking Iron Man, and she's like a goddamn teenager, and she's
so
black.
Wait, does
you mean the manga
compensate?
In the manga version, she's called Iron Maiden.
Okay, you know what?
She's called Iron Maiden.
We need to do a separate SNL stream just about comics, so I'm not boring anybody else out there.
SNL?
Because
what?
Yes, did I say? Oh, don't tell me I said that because I know you guys.
No, you didn't.
Comment, and I'm going to say S&M when I mean SNL because Pat said that. Yeah, no, like we should do a separate comic because I do my comic book streams with Empire Comics Lab, but I'd like to do one where we can talk about the politics side of it.
We're gonna talk shit about David.
I still want to go with why Marvel is not as aggressive as most fucking people think it is. It's purely fucking writers. And I want to go with each fucking character why it isn't. But I cannot do it right here because it will take a bit of time.
Yeah. No, we'll do, you know, I'm going to add that to my schedule. Like we'll figure out a date for it, but we'll do a comic book, like a political comic book stream where we can talk about the politics side of it. Because, I mean, like DC is guilty of it too, but they've become less so. Of course, with the Brian Michael Bendis going over to DC, I have less hope for DC than ever.
Yeah, some people are already thinking a female Superman will come, a gay Superman will come, etc., etc. And
Marvel's
Captain America's coming, and people flipping their fucking shit as if it's something new. There already was a female Captain America. There was a daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones in the future. I'm like, fuck it.
Here's the thing.
I want to know
like last thing on the comic books. Marvel sales, and this will tie back into the Disney thing. And it's funny because Disney owns Marvel. Marvel sales have gone into the fucking toilet. Their comic book sales. Because they started appeasing to SJWs. And guess what SJWs don't do? Read fucking comic books. They don't read them. If you start trying to appease people who don't read your fucking material, yes, maybe you're gonna feel like, hey, we're doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden your sales suck. Now I could I'm not going to do it, but and I'll save this for the stream when we do. I could go into a lot of the sales aspects, and I know people who run comic book shops, and I can confirm some of this, that they cook their books basically to make their sales look better than what they are. As abysmal as their sales are, they're actually worse. Marvel is constantly fucking up on their comic book front. And guess what their movies do differently than their comic books? They don't appease to social justice warriors. I mean, like fucking...
Because that's the real money.
Yeah, Winter Soldier and Civil War were probably two of the most libertarian fucking movies ever. Like they were so libertarian. And the comic books wouldn't do stuff
Marvel
like
Legacy
that.
is doing amazing at the moment, and they're dropping the more like the Wasp is gone, the Miss America is quitting, a few couple others are removed. The current storyline's going on. The Wolf, the Logan is coming back. That Legacy is doing good.
So you guys have definitely you guys have seen like the Infinity War trailer.
I love
It
the
looks
Infinity War.
amazing.
I love the first
Okay.
one. I love the second one even more.
I have a prediction.
Go for it.
Someone is gonna say Black Widow's new look with like the blonde hair look is gonna be some sort of like Nazi Aryan propaganda.
Isn't it right there?
Side note: her new hair in that movie looks fucking ugly. She looks
Oh yeah,
gross.
yeah. No, I know. But I'm just saying is, I bet there's gonna
Oh
be
no, I'm not.
someone-
I wouldn't doubt it.
someone's
I
gonna
wouldn't
do
doubt
it.
it.
I have
gonna
one.
be like-
I
You heard it here
the movie
first.
will be overhyped. And the movie
Okay,
will actually
here's the
not be
thing,
what
though.
people think.
And here's one of my last bits is if they don't say Avengers Assemble somewhere in that movie, I am fucking done with Marvel forever.
Didn't they say that at some point?
Nope. They did Avengers and then they cut it off in Avengers 2, and I fucking hated Joss Whedon ever since.
Joss Whedon's a
Fuck Joss
big
Whedon. I
SJW.
hate Joss Whedon now.
This movie called
That movie
Avengers
pissed
Assemble
me
in
off.
the UK version.
That movie, the Avengers 2 pissed me off. But okay, like here's the thing, and like it goes back to like earlier when I made this statement, and I said movies, TV shows, and I expanded it into comics. And when I said and expanded that into comics, I was specifically referencing Marvel. There are these things is when you're pushing an agenda over story, you're going to end up with a shitty fucking story. You cannot push the agenda and have the story come in second and expect to actually make entertainment.
See something about the hand of that too. Look at the latest I haven't read this week yet, but last week Supergirl, where they put a non-binary character in it, and it was felt like a complete filler comic.
Yeah.
They didn't add anything to the storyline. I'm like, why the fuck is that? I don't feel like I'm a guy. I don't feel like a girl. I'm non-binary, parents. And that's the whole fucking story. This mode with the character. It was not about Supergirl.
You can't put the agenda first and think, hey, I'm gonna make an entertaining story. Like it just doesn't work out that well. Because if the agenda is first on your mind, you're gonna build your story around your agenda rather than like an entertaining story. And this is me speaking as an actual writer who has written prose stuff and who has written comic book stuff. I'll say I've written screenplays. Nothing has come to pass. Don't judge me. But I've written short story stuff. I've written like 5-minute screenplays for like 2 horror things and some comedy stuff, and that's come to pass. And that's as far as I've gotten to screenplays. But as a writer, I have, I understand. Like I've like, like I've put in things that be like, okay, like there is a screenplay I have. If it got made into a movie now, it would be considered extremely progressive because of how I wrote a gay character. But when I wrote the character, I wasn't thinking, like how can I best write this gay character? I just wrote him as a person who happened to be gay. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with it. And here's the thing: is go back to some of the most some like if I had known I was going to do this, I would have researched it off the top of my head. But some movies and stuff that get like awarded like great awards and like great appreciation for how they present gay characters. They present the character as just a person first and their identity second, and that's what people need to be doing. They need to really be like, if you're, and that's where like this tweet from Disney becomes more asinine when you think about it like that.
So what about
that's something I still want to say that you have Wildstorm who make basically like a parody of Batman and Superman, and they are like in a gay relationship because they some little bit some eyes you can say there is something more going on between the two than sometimes you could think. They didn't make this a joke, but they are actually still characters.
There was all these people who during Winter Soldier they wanted Captain America and Bucky to be like in a gay relationship, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid. It doesn't fit their characters, and the only reason you would do that is to force an agenda.
Leave that in the fan fictions, though.
Fine, and it's
leave it to fan fiction. Leave it to your creepy Sonic the Hedgehog like sexual fan fictions that I hear about. Leave it there. Leave it to your crazy fucking like 4chan and like I don't what was it? What's that art one that people do?
DeviantArt.
DeviantArt, where there's some weird ass shit on there. Leave all your creepy ass there. Let stories be good stories, and leave your fucking identity politics at the goddamn door. Please. Let's let entertainment be entertaining. What were you gonna say, Pat? Sorry.
Never going to happen, because the whole thing around identity politics is that they have to control everything.
Yeah, well, and it's a thing. It's insane. And here's the thing is, like, because it becomes so counterintuitive, because these companies, all they see is dollar signs. But as I've said before, like SJWs and people who are obsessed with identity politics, they don't make up the majority of the population. They don't make up the majority of the people that consume this material. So when these companies appease these people and force these identity politics, it shows in the numbers. But they don't seem to care, which is extremely bizarre. It's extremely bizarre.
It's almost like they actually don't care about it.
Well, here's the thing. Disney doesn't have to care, honestly.
For fuck's sake.
Disney doesn't have to care. Disney, I think it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., got shitty ratings, and ABC wanted to pull it, and Disney was like, no, it stays on air. They don't have to care.
ABC wanted to pull it because they felt like, we're done, but it was with the last season, and that season went fucking amazing. It goes good. Keep going.
Disney, and the fact that Marvel Comics hasn't made a drastic change. Disney doesn't have to care that something is losing money, because Disney has so much fucking money in so many different areas of the world. They can constantly pull in money, and they'll recover, and they can push whatever weird ass agendas they want to, which is why when Planned Parenthood tweets something like that, I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is going to come to pass at some point, just because.
So when are they bringing Walt Disney back from the dead?
Right. He would immediately kill himself. He's like, what the fuck will company become?
No, he's frozen or something. He's in the vault.
Let me share this with you guys. I just found it. It's an article posted today.
Yeah, go for it.
You screen share it?
Yeah, I can, I guess.
You put it in the chat if anyone wants to check.
So everyone, all 2 of our viewers can see it.
So
3. I got 3. It's an Onion.
Basically, the staff at the Onion is now forming a union.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Wait, is AV Club satire, or
I don't know?
Incorporated has union. Actually, I could pull it up here.
I don't think they are.
I don't know. I didn't think AV Club was satire. That sounds like satire, but I'm like, whoa, okay, wait a minute.
Come on.
So they're looking to join the same union that.
Amos already showing.
I pulled it up here.
Okay, so AV Club is joining them. Onion and Clickhole. Is that what it says?
We decided to form a union at Sister Sites the Onion and Clickhole. First of all,
Clickhole.
They signed cards signaling our desire to unionize. We made it official on Monday when we requested formal recognition. We are joining an impressive cadre of other digital media shops that have unionized with us. They're actually serious. This is the Onion being serious, everyone.
Wow, I never thought I would see
that. Shows that Simpsons pick, especially that one.
The Simpsons pick makes me very. Unlike its parent publication, the AV Club is not consciously satirical. The publication's aim is a reference to so the AV Club is a branch of the Onion, but it's not. It's their serious branch. So this isn't satire, folks.
So
I'm sorry, but the Simpsons screenshot screams satire. That is an extremely poor choice.
We'll also look at the.
Simpsons is enter SJW.
Is anybody screen sharing? Can they show that Simpsons pic?
Yeah, got it.
Look at the. So the unionized group, they're joining the Writers Guild of America East. It also represents.
Pat, let me cut you off real quick. Everybody, go look at Amos's screen
right here. It says screenshot from the episode of The Simpsons called "The Last Exit to Springfield."
Yeah, and that whole episode was about unions. So the screenshot makes sense in that. But if you're not a Simpsons fanatic like me, you're not gonna fucking know that. the casual person's going to look at that and be like, oh, they put Simpsons, that must be satire. You know, like I love The Simpsons. I understood the reference. I thought it was satire. Okay, Pat, go ahead.
Well,
Pat.
even reading the article, it seems like satire because it says they're joining the same union that has Jezebel, Deadspin, Lifehacker, Vice, Vox, HuffPost, Salon, MTV News.
Okay, that sounds like the fucking leftist like SJW cult. Like, okay, that sounds so much like satire. That is like we're joining a bunch of outlets that are like notoriously shitty and biased, and like we're like that. How could you and think Progress is on there? How could you not think this is satire? It sounds so much like genius satire.
Occupy
and
Democrats.
It's fucking real. That is insane.
Well, even that.
Here's what
Fox is getting bought by Disney. How would it?
When I quoted that thing when it said the AV Club isn't consciously satire, I think this is what they meant. This sounds satirical in every possible way.
But I'm just not thinking about it. Disney is going to buy Fox, meaning they can own property like Family Guy, Simpsons, and shit like that. How would it affect those shows? Would the makers of the shows allow Disney to meddle with that fucking show?
Disney isn't outright buying all of Fox. I thought they were just buying aspects of Fox. I don't know. Let's
buying the V aspect.
Isn't Disney buying SpaceX?
I have no idea. Let's get back to this article, though.
Disney's going to buy everything.
Disney will buy everything. Disney will be the one company. They'll become the corporate Congress from like Continuum, and but it's fine.
Is buying Google.
I found it interesting. What the fuck will happen with those shows?
I wanted to get back to the article, though. Pat, like, did you have some more you wanted to go into it? Pat, are you still there?
Did you leave?
I think the YouTube police came after him.
Pat, can you hear me?
They're coming for me. They'll come for you.
He looks there. Pat, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can see him.
Oh, okay. I think you're like spacing out. I wanted to know if there's anything else, like more about the article you wanted to go into.
Yeah, it says that. Let me find it here. Yeah, it's kind of odd because it says the workers are unionizing for like equal pay.
Yeah, it says it's like the why we're unionizing. It says to have a seat at the table, to strengthen our culture and maintain editorial independence, which is hilarious, to ensure fair wages, hiring practice, consistent benefits, and severance pay. Good luck with that when you have a fucking union.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold up. So they're joining a union with all these other publications, HuffPo, Think Progress, all these. Don't they write about this kind of stuff on almost a daily basis? And if so, why do they need to form a union to make sure that it happens for them? I mean, wouldn't they be championing these principles if they're writing about them?
Who is the parent company for AV News? Because it says the article starts off with, we've decided to form a union here at Onion Inc. So I think Onion Incorporated owns AV Club and they own Clickhole, I believe. Now, I don't know how big of a parent company it is, but I thought it was small enough that they could control that stuff on their own. It seems a little ridiculous to form a union, and especially when unions are notoriously like easily corruptible.
Okay.
Either this is one big trolling move, or
this makes sense. The controlling the group that has the controlling stake in the company is Fusion, which owns 40%. Mm-hmm. And Fusion is notoriously SJW and all that stuff. So
okay. Anybody who's watching now or in the future, if you want to read more about this, just Google AV News Union. It should pop up on the first on Google. I tested that. It'll be the first article to pop up. It's the same one that Pat's looking at right now, and that most of us have been referencing. It's not very long. It just gives you a brief where it just says we're unionizing and here's why, and it gives some really shitty points. And it looks like it's just such cookie cutter fucking points too. Like their points might as well have been copy pasted and then like just change some names around. Like what if they have unionized? Anionize. I'm fine with that. That's good for them.
Spelled the same.
You know what? We've spent almost a whole hour on fucking Disney and shit. I'm surprised. Does anybody want to move on to Trump versus Amazon now? Has anybody heard about this?
I don't know anything about that.
Now, I'd hoped Vinny was going to be on because he was the one that brought this up. But I'll see if I can get him on in a future stream to talk more about this. Now, I hadn't heard about this. I did some very light research. We don't have to go into too much in depth since Vinny's not here to kind of head up the discussion on that. But okay, I'm going to read you the first. I'm gonna summarize the first paragraph and read you a couple of sentences. President Trump escalated his attack on Amazon on Thursday, saying in an early morning tweet, and no surprise that he's tweeting, that the online retail behemoth does not pay enough taxes, and strongly suggesting that he may use the power of his office to rein in the nation's largest e-commerce business.
No.
Yeah.
The hammer.
A couple, real quick. Mr. Trump accused Amazon, one of the country's most recognizable and successful brands, of putting thousands of local retailers out of business, and said the company was using the United States Postal Service as its delivery boy. First of all, I have never gotten anything delivered post office from Amazon. It's always UPS.
I can't even use Amazon because I don't have a credit card.
Let's go. Discuss. Mike, you were obviously very passionate about your reaction. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, every president, well, not every president, but you have a lot of presidents who do things and it becomes a precedent for future presidents.
Yeah.
All these things that Trump is doing right now, first of all, people who voted for Donald Trump were upset that presidents could have so much power and thought that Donald Trump is going to be the guys to, quote unquote, bring down the walls of the temple, ruin the establishment, and bring some sense of, justice and normalcy back to DC. But at the same time, the same people who voted for this are cheering on Trump when he does these, I don't want to say tyrannical things, but he's going after stuff that he doesn't need to go after. And really, presidents should not have that kind of authority.
Yeah.
And all it's going to do is it's going to open up a door for future presidents to,
have the ability to do the same or worse, basically.
Much worse. And Jeff Bezos is this really big, wealthy, Democrat donor. He owns the Washington Post. He owns Amazon. So is that the motivation behind why Trump is going after Amazon? Because what reason does he have to go after Amazon anyway? Okay, so they're putting local retailers out of business. Well, you work in business, Donald Trump. You should know that this happens with business. If you win the competition, you win the business game.
Well, it's definitely odd. Amazon pays federal taxes. Amazon actually pays all their federal taxes. The taxes they don't pay are state and local taxes. So I don't know where D-Man is
D-Man
pissed off here.
D-Man.
Okay, real quick, I wanted to hold on. Okay, I wanted to touch on what Mike was saying in his first point. Now, which I feel is like a super, very, very excellent point that needs to be made. And I want to jump back to the beginning days of the Trump presidency, where the left was freaking the fuck out that this guy has too much power, and then everybody would counter back. You realize you guys wanted to give all this power to the office of the presidency under Obama, and then people double back. You realize you wanted to give all this power to the office under Bush. Every president has been able to, through different means, been able to take on more and more and more power to that office. Now, the office has way too much fucking power because, especially under Clinton, but especially Bush, Obama, and now Trump, it's just expanding and expanding. Now, if under the next election, or even if Trump stays in office for 8 years and, we get a Democrat next, the right is going to be freaking the fuck out. This Democrat president has too much power, and they're not going to think about how often we fucking expanded. Now, that's something I think needs to be said. Is like when we're looking at things like this, we need to be thinking of the president should not have this much power. They should not be able to obtain this much power. These are the instances where the public needs to be putting its foot down and being saying, no, you're the president. Stay in your lane. Let business do business. Let the government, let the proper branches of the government do their jobs. Stay in your fucking lane. Do not expand this power. Nobody should be supporting this. Everybody should be against him stepping outside of his authority on something like this, because this is the cycle we've gotten into over the last several presidents. Is just every president slowly, and I feel like this is a prime example of these instances that pop up throughout everybody's presidency of little things like this pop up, and they use it as a way to expand their authority. And you'll have one side of the nation cheering this on, while the other side of the nation is booing it. One side of the nation is cheering it on. So when the next president comes in, that just flip flops. So there's no vast majority saying no. You just have one side saying yes, one side saying no, and who's saying yes and who's saying no just flip flops every 4 to 8 years, and it's just stupid. We need a vast majority stepping in and saying.
At least you still have the Second Amendment in USA. Like if something happens here, I'm fucked.
But it's just like we have these very, very amazing opportunities like this where we could point to and say, this is where the president is trying to expand their authority. We need to step in now. We need to do something now. And if anybody, I feel like we need to learn from our mistakes of the past and realize this. But the problem is everybody's so left versus right brain. It's left or right wing. Nobody's thinking of the bigger picture of 4 to 8 years down the road. Yeah, but 4 to 8 years down the road, the next president who doesn't agree with me might have this much authority to do the same thing. That's the mindset we need to be in. Who was saying something? Pat?
Yeah, I was listening to a Ben Shapiro podcast, and he had a very good analysis of it. Basically, we've gotten to the point where the people in power that have the ability to check the president's power want to basically just not cause any ripples in the status quo. So they're fine giving up power as long as they maintain the image that they do things, they're fine giving up power because that's less of a chance for them to mess up. And when the president messes up, they could just point fingers and say, hey, look at this idiot messing up. Why'd you elect him?
I feel like that's a good point of why other politicians would be willing to do it. I think but I mean, I think there's this problem of so much, and this is where we need more third parties. And I'm getting a little off track here, but this is where we need more third parties to be able to step into this country and be like, no, this is wrong, regardless of whether you're left versus right. Because think back of just before Trump's presidencies in the 8 years of Obama, of what the left was against and what the right was for, and how much of the exact same rhetoric is out there still. It's just switch sides. It's just now the left is saying this and the right is saying this, when it used to just be flip flop. And before that, it was flip flop with Bush, and before that, it was flip flop with Clinton, and it just keeps going back and forth. And
it keeps getting worse and worse. I've noticed
worse and worse because every president is able to gain this territory and gain this authority because you just have two sides.
The media make it out of completely fucking worse as well.
You just have these two sides arguing back and forth, and a president's able to gain ground because
a new civil war will come.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like the next president is going to be able to continue this trend because all the talking points are just going to flip, and that's it. Nothing else changes. Society goes on. People just argue back and forth, and this is how this is where the left versus right paradigm fails horribly. This is where the left versus right concept just is the destruction of American society. This is where it needs to be changed, because all we're doing with this kind of rut that we're in is affording politicians, especially the presidency, more and more power that they're not supposed to have.
Right.
Another thing that worries me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amos.
I was going to say just real quick on one of the points that you mentioned at the beginning of this topic is, so you said, because I was just pulling up the article over here, and it says basically, Trump is not happy because the post office is becoming the Amazon's, little delivery boy. It's ironic that that the New York Times is reporting on this, basically dissing the president. I don't know if they are. I mean, but it's, it says a text, so it's obviously there is a bias. They're saying like he is. It's
the article is heavily biased. I will say that.
Oh yeah, it's heavily biased against Donald Trump in his actions to basically call out a company for abusing a government service, basically. And I just think the whole thing is just hilarious, because the fact is like the left accuses, says, when we try to talk about welfare reform, when we talk about how we deal with individualism and welfare and collectivism and stuff, they so quickly will say, they don't believe anyone would abuse the system. Section 9 with the whole college rape culture thing, and how that's, how they're changing due process and all this stuff. No, people are telling the truth. No, people wouldn't abuse the system. No, like you have to believe this and that. I'm just using it as an example.
No, yeah.
And then Trump says, actually find someone who is abusing the system. I mean, Jeff Bezos has every right to abuse a system that is so cheap to just work to send anything anywhere. I can go all the way down to Florida, send a letter all the way up to the corner of Alaska for what, 40, 50 cents?
Okay, but real quick,
cost effective.
Is it really abusing a system?
No,
if those are the prices they set? That's ridiculous.
But I mean, it's...
No, I'm not saying that. That's what you were saying, Amos. I feel like from Trump's stance, how can you be abusing a system that sets its own prices? It's fucking stupid. The post office is failing, and my mom's a postmaster. I hear from her all kinds of fucking stories of how on the inside of how they're just retarded and screwing things up.
The way it's being presented, I think, is Trump is. They're saying, Trump is saying Amazon is abusing the post office for being its own.
Okay. I didn't know if that was coming. Here's the thing. From the article, I can't tell if that's coming out of Trump's mouth or if that's New York Times' interpretation.
It says delivery boy, but like there's no context. But I mean, if they're trying to present,
they put delivery boy in quotes. So
if they're trying to present a view,
I want to assume, and this is a huge leap, that if New York Times is maintaining any kind of journalistic integrity, that's a direct quote.
They have as much journalistic integrity as
they wish.
Yeah. Amos, as soon as you're done, let us know, because I want Mike to pick up on his point.
No, I know. No, it's just basically, it's just interesting. Like they're presenting this idea.
I agree.
That he is calling out, like, Jeff Bezos is essentially using, not abusing, but basically taking it for granted. Probably would be a better word.
I think that's a much better way of putting it. Taking it for granted. That's a much better way of putting it.
So it's just interesting how they're doing that, and it's like. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I think taking it for granted is a much better way of putting it, because if the post office is against its own best interest, providing better prices, then yeah, I could see Amazon taking it for granted if they're relying on it heavily. But abusing it is a ridiculous way of putting it.
Jeff Bezos has a whole fleet of mail trucks held hostage.
Well, the thing is, he's not even. They're not even taking advantage of the post office. All they have is an agreement for the post office to ship on Sundays.
Yeah, that's it. The post office has started shipping on Sundays, and there's an agreement there with the post office ships on Sundays for certain companies.
The nerve.
They don't ship for everybody. So it's ridiculous. Mike, I would love to hear what you had to say.
Well, I was just going to say that what worries me, I mean, you're talking about, presidents and power, and now I know that voters always have, a certain bias and affection for the person that they voted for, but I think we're seeing something different now in Trump voters, at least that, I mean, if it was there before, I haven't noticed it. Like, you know, ever since Trump came along, the phrase 4D chess has become a thing that people use. And like, even like after Trump signed the omnibus, you know, there were some people who voted for Trump who were really upset about that. But then like his most diehard supporters were saying, Trump has something up his sleeve. He's doing this and he's setting up Congress and he's like, they said that he's baiting the swamp.
Okay.
And he's going to lead them into a trap.
Real quick, like I'm going to comment on that. Of like, it does seem like Trump can't lose in the eyes of some people, no matter how far bad he fucks up, and the eyes of a lot of the people on the right and like of his avid supporters. It's always up. Oh no, like he might have said this. It might look horrible, but no, he's playing people, or he's got some crazy plan in place that like this is all playing out in his best interest.
No, he just listened to the last person.
These mental gymnastics these people jump to like figure this stuff out. Mike, go ahead, pick up on your point. Sorry to cut you off there.
Well, it's okay. I was saying that, well, first of all, you're gonna have people who believe everything that he says, and the stuff that he's saying about Amazon now, no one's going to look into it for themselves. You're just going to say, well, Trump said it, so Amazon is abusing the system and abusing the post office in a way that they're not supposed to.
That's definitely going to happen for sure.
That's definitely going to happen for sure. And like, I mean, you know, as far as like precedents, well, now, you know, I think that also a precedent is being set for voters in the way that they look at the person that they voted for. And I mean, you know, think about how bad it is with Trump's voters. I mean, how worse is it going to be in, you know, 2024, 2032, 2040? Yeah. You know, I mean, just basing off if every president, starting with Trump and after Trump serves 2 terms, I mean, how much worse is the mindset of the voter going to become?
I would, just to comment on that, I would say too. Yeah, like I mean, I feel like some of this worship started. I mean, it's probably started with previous presidents, but I feel like the worsening of it started with Obama. Like this worship of like, no, he cannot do any wrong.
Actually, like Bush had them as well.
Yeah, like well, I mean, Bush had them as well. Bush had them as well. But there was a lot of people that were against.
It becomes worse and worse and worse with each fucking president. It's like an elastic type D. The opposing force become worse. The followers become worse, and in the end, the elastic is gonna snap. Unless they cannot keep going, and that's when the civil war will fucking happen.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, you know, there were still people on the left who held Obama accountable, and they got upset when Obama did certain things. Like, do you remember around 2010, whenever Obama ordered the troop surge in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
There are people on the left who were livid about that. I mean, they thought that Obama was going to get into office and he was going to pull us out of Iraq and pull us out of Afghanistan immediately. Well, he orders a troop surge to Afghanistan and
hop into a heavily left like Twitter or Facebook. Like I don't want to use being libertarian because that's just ridiculous. Hop into like a heavily left like page or stream or something like that. And start bringing up these things like Obama had this surge of troops in Afghanistan. Obama did this. Obama invaded more countries than Bush did. Obama dropped like 23,000 bombs on like countries, and I think that's right. I could be blowing that out of proportion or short sign. I can't remember. He dropped a shitload of bombs on countries. Like he did so much worse than Bush ever could have imagined. He expanded the Patriot Act. He'd never closed Guantanamo Bay. You start bringing up all these criticisms, and it's either just complete like deflection of well Trump or Bush, or it's oh no, he didn't do that. That's not true. You know, like it's flat out ignorance.
Yeah.
Like okay, like I would rail against Bush and I've railed against Obama. And honestly, until Obama, I had never seen so much stubbornness to make excuses for a president. It was insane.
Because everybody knew with Bush like how fucking he's always compared to a monkey by people.
I think it was hard to deny how retarded Bush was. Because he made it too obvious.
Obama actually has something you can even stand behind. Like the way how he talks, you at least can believe something.
Yeah,
Obama
was at least well spoken if he had his teleprompter. Yeah, Mike, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Well, I mean, since you say that, I remember there was something that I heard when Obama was president that people cheered about. And they talked about whenever Obama was president, we had some of the lowest deficits in history.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a deficit. That's really not something to celebrate.
It's not. It's like
we still spend too much money.
Yeah. We spend slightly less too much money than we spent a little bit ago. Like that's not a celebration to be made.
Lowest deficits in history.
It's insane. It is insane. Like when those are the victories you're claiming, you're fucking wrong. Like you're on the wrong goddamn side. Hey guys, I gotta step away for like a couple seconds. Just continue this conversation.
It's like, hey guys, I spent I used my credit cards less this month.
We don't even use credit cards here, so I can.
Well, I know, but I mean, deficit spending is like spending on a credit card.
But we're like, fuck it, you cannot use a credit card means you cannot go shop here. I'm like, why the fuck not? My money is just as good as fucking everyone else. Nope.
Exactly. No, it's funny how deficit spending. I've tried like zeroing down the numbers. Like if you look at how much money we actually spend, it's like imagine like you take your rent numbers and you like try to like scale it, and it's funny how like ridiculous the government is. Oh yeah, my rent is $600 a month, but I had to borrow $2,000 every month for the whole year. and then but I passed a law that allows me to borrow even more money. But never, it just makes no sense. What did you have here, Pat?
Planned Parenthood again.
Yeah. Kentucky
stand with Planned Parenthood. Yeah, we need a Disney princess who's a Kekistani.
Did you?
There's no way Disney will make that one. There's no fucking way.
Did you hear that, Josh?
A Kekistani princess? I feel like I got here just in time.
Yeah, we need a Disney princess that's Kekistani.
What are you doing to my stream, man?
She is the ultimate illegal immigrant because there is no actual country.
Okay, when I started this stream, I showed Amos. I said one of the topics is going to be David Hogg, and I said if we're going to talk about David Hogg again tonight, I need to be fucking lit. And I bought this bottle earlier tonight.
Oh wow.
I'm like, if I'm going to talk about David Hogg again, I'm going to need to be like drunk enough to not want to punch something.
Well, we have
that guy's clearly a fucking psychopath.
I fucking hate that kid so much. So
he's a fucking psychopath.
He does. He looks like his. Okay, you look at those pictures of him with his like all like fist raised. He looks fucking insane. Like he looks.
He looks more
like,
and more
I
insane.
Swear to God,
comes.
The day I open
more and more pissed.
Okay, the day I wake up and I see in my news feed that David Hogg went fucking crazy and shot a bunch of people, I am not going to be surprised. I am not going to be surprised.
Well,
he looks insane.
Fucking attention. So he's gonna cry in bits.
I just sent a meme into the group of David Hogg. I think Maya put it up, so I shared it in there. It's pretty funny.
Wait, I saw.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, my dad should have pulled out.
My dad should have.
Okay, if ever, I don't know how well you can see the meme. It's that.
It's the change my mind meme, and it's
change my mind meme.
My dad should have pulled out.
There are now a lot of lefties who hating the change my mind meme because it is such a crowd that does that.
I'm gonna share that on my Twitter.
He did the live
meme because the guy who's in it. Like, what the fuck is the logic? We're making the fun of the guy as well.
Oh yeah, and he loves it though. It's giving him more exposure. They did a live change my mind thing, so they couldn't do their live show. They actually just straight up did a live stream from outside and did change my mind like live unedited because people are like, "Oh, you guys are having these conversations. You're cherry picking," and he's like, "No, we're gonna do a reel." But
okay, is anybody up to date with the whole Lauren Ingram thing that's been going on? I feel like Amos, you might have tweeted about it a little bit, or at least talked about it before.
No. Well, what did he do? David Hogg basically like bitched about Lauren Ingram, which I don't even know who that is.
Okay, they're okay. First of all, just to set the stage for her first tweet, I think David Hogg got rejected by like 4 different colleges, and he was whining about it. I think that's what prompted. I think that's what prompted Lauren Ingram's tweet. Go ahead, Amos.
So what did she tweet then?
Oh shit! I got it here in one sec. David Hogg. David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied and whines about it. Deemed by UCLA with a 4.1 GPA, totally predictable given acceptance rates. I don't know. But apparently he Laura Ingram she tweeted some shit about him like any rational person has probably already done because the kid's a fucking moron. And I don't even like calling him a kid because he acts like a kid. He is not a fucking kid. He's what, 17, 18?
I think he's 17.
Yeah, he's not a kid anymore. He's either on the highest possible category of young adult or he's an adult. It doesn't matter. To me, it's the same. He's either 17, he's 18. He's not a fucking kid anymore. He's smart enough to make decisions on his own, but yet he's being used and he's allowing himself to be a puppet in this whole media fucking game. And he's gonna use this celebrity status to try to propel himself into a career of some sort. I am absolutely certain, whether it's politics or whether it's anything. He's going to use his current celebrity status, and he's going to try to do it while he's still relevant to launch himself into some kind of career. I'm calling it now. You watch for it. I will be surprised if it doesn't happen.
American Psycho with David Hogg.
Somebody, okay. Amos, now that you mentioned that, because I went to a convention not too long ago, and there was a guy. You did post that, the guy that could do the Christian Patrick Bateman. He did the whole Patrick. He was dressed as Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, and he did the he did this monologue from him flawlessly, and it was
the one about the song.
The song, and he did it flawlessly. He did it so on cue, so perfectly. And Jen, one of our followers, she was like, it is so much like that kid that you recorded a couple months ago doing the Patrick Bateman impression. I was like, oh my fucking god, he looks so much like David Hogg. David Hogg. Did anybody see the David Hogg tweet about cosplaying this weekend at the comic convention as David Hogg?
No.
I said, I could totally cosplay this weekend as David Hogg. All I would have to do was look like a psychopathic douchebag. And then just go around trying to force my opinion down everyone's throat around me. Like I would just try to go around forcing my opinion on everyone around me, and that'd be the perfect David Hogg.
So anyone watching this,
like this all day,
put David Hogg's face over Patrick Bateman.
Yes, I think we need to do that now. Honestly, I do think we need to do that.
It's an edited pic, but apparently, was it all well and good? Had a picture of Planned Parenthood advocates for and said Kentucky stand with Planned Parenthood, and it's a bunch of times, and then yes, we are Kai.
Okay, well, yeah, for Kentucky. So, no, here'd be an interesting one.
I don't know if the picture is or not.
So take the video clip. You remember the business card scene?
Yeah,
so he's like freaking out over the business card.
Mm-hmm.
So you put David Hogg's face over him, right? And then they're all showing each other cards. So like they have to show something like just like bullshit like legislation on gun control. So he'll just like flip open and be like, take all their guns away. Flip another one open, like, and then he's like freaking out, like, because remember he had like there were like better cards.
He was so pissed about those cards.
And then like the other people in there are like the other people. So like there's like Emma Gonzalez. It's like
I just messaged Jason, who does all of the memes for Sarcasm and Liberty. My brother, who you probably seen, some people have seen this in the streams. I just messaged him about the Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman, David Hogg.
Yeah. He just did one this night that Mike came up with, which was great. Which was Mike. Do you want to say it? Because I think it'd be better coming from you.
I was thinking to myself earlier because I was thinking about Dianne Feinstein, and I don't know.
Just real quick, I tweeted about her a few times today, so it was pretty relevant.
That's probably what it came from.
Yeah,
that's probably what it came from. But I was thinking about Dianne Feinstein, and I thought to myself, DF stands for Dianne Feinstein. Ironically, DF also stands for dumb fuck. And so then I just went ahead and went to our group chat, and I shared it here.
The group chat on Twitter.
You gotta then just get the picture of her with that AK-47.
No, Jason already memed it.
Oh
yeah,
Jason already memed it. Yeah. Let me see. He's got a picture of Dianne. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one he used.
It's like the left can't meme, but the left are a meme goldmine.
Oh, okay. Here's what I usually say: the left can't meme, but they can't help from making themselves into a meme.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like that's just how it always goes. Like they suck at making memes. When it comes to like being a meme, that's just how they are. Like they just can't not do it.
But
it's amazing.
Although I don't understand how, because the right is also terrible at memes. But
okay,
I would say
the boomers, and somebody tried to accuse the Diana Feinstein meme of being a boomer quality. I'm like, nah, you haven't seen much boomer memes if you think that's Diana. That's boomer quality.
Boomers make excellent memes as well. They're really good with them.
They are notoriously bad. Okay, you know how you said something about using the Diana Feinstein. Hold on, let me screen share because Amos, you're going to be really pleased when you see this. Let me screen share real quick so I can show this meme. Here we go. Diana Feinstein's initials are DF, which also stands for dumb fuck. Coincidence? And there's the one with her goddamn finger on the motherfucking trigger. Which anybody who knows about guns knows you do not put your finger on the trigger unless you plan on firing it. Just don't fucking do that. And for somebody who supposedly knows a whole bunch about guns, she is retarded as fuck. She is so stupid. And that from where that picture is taken, she was also pointing the barrel at people in the fucking audience. Feinstein is so ignorant when it comes to guns. For anybody to take anything she says about guns seriously, like if you had seen her, I've made several memes about it today because it was so stupid. It was like, there are millions of assault rifles in America and you can't hunt with them, you can't defend yourself with them. What good are they? I'm like, first of all, an AR-15 is one of those things you consider an assault rifle, and yeah, you can fucking hunt with it. It uses the exact same ammo as many bolt-action hunting rifles do. Yes, you could hunt with an AR-15. It would not be weird. To pick out any gun and say, no, you can't use that for self-defense is retarded. It's so stupid to say you can't use an AR-15 or another assault weapon as self-defense. Yes, you can use it as self-defense.
It's just like the argument they make about why it's like about why you don't need an AR-15. Like they say the AR-15 was designed to kill. Okay, first of all, name a gun or name any firearm that was not designed to kill. First, two. I mean, even like, yeah, it is, but so what? I mean, that's why people have it. They don't have it because they want to.
Knives are invented to kill.
They have it in case they ever find themselves in a situation where they might have to. Do
you think people that have a gun for self-defense do not realize that gun is in primary intent is to kill? Do you think they don't know that? Like that is ridiculous. And the post I made that got some huge attention, it got 70 some retweets. Let me pull it up first because I would right. I know I got one thing that has gone viral this week, and I'm like, yay. Let's see if I can fucking find it because I tweeted so much about Diana Feinstein tonight because I fucking hate her so much. If there's one, if there's next to Nancy Pelosi, if there's one politician, and I'm like, I would not ever celebrate if anybody. I think any person dying is a tragedy, but if there's a politician that I would be like, oh fuck yeah, she died, it's Diana Feinstein because fuck her so much. I hate her. Okay, real quick. Here's her tweet. Today we have 15 million assault weapons in the U.S. These guns are modeled after military weapons and then sold to civilians. For what? You can't use it for hunting. You don't need it for defense. What do you need it for? And then I responded, okay, I was wrong. So far it's got 90 likes, 42 retweets. If we truly have 15 million assault weapons in the US right now, shouldn't you see that as a testament to the responsibility of the average gun owner? They're not out there shooting people up because the average gun owner isn't a lunatic. Stop with the stupidity, Feinstein. I attacked her in the last part.
So I have some assault weapons right here.
Right? And then that's the crazy part, because I'm like, what they consider an assault weapon is so fucking vague. Like you can take two weapons that fire the same ammo. They're both semi-automatic. And which one has more plastic on it, or like little plastic additions to it, is now considered an assault weapon. And it's dangerous because it looks scary and it's got some additions to it. It's got a little handle on the front, because like if it's got a handle on the front, you'll be able to kill more people with it.
Did you guys? Well, I don't know if you guys did, but I put out a tweet #LiberalLogic.
I haven't seen it.
Cops are gunning down. So I just said cops are gunning down people all over this country, and violent racism is an institutional problem that should be combated. But let's ban guns so only police and military can have them.
Right.
And I said #liberal. This was on my Facebook. So what had happened was,
real quick, I just saw you retweeted the stream from the other night, and you said, "Cheek it out, y'all, you motherfucker." Go ahead. Go ahead.
Not to mention any names, because anyways. So someone basically commented, "Couldn't we do both though?" And I said, well, I don't delight in the idea of ditching a check against government tyranny and self-defense. And he says, well, other countries have a lot of checks against government. How come guns and violence? So then I basically tried taking him down the whole, like...
Checks against the government? I call
it a check against government tyranny.
Was that on your tweet? Because they had me
blocked. This was Facebook.
Oh, okay. I saw your tweet. I just retweeted that because I think that's a good point. It's these things where these people say like police are evil, they're racist, they're gunning down on these black people, blah blah blah, and then and the next day only police should have guns. Well, which
so then
fucking mind.
And here's the big issue: is a lot of the logic that they're trying to take you down is, well, we're not trying to ban guns, we just want to make sure crazy people don't get them. Well, crazy people are going to get them no matter what you do. Right. But so I'm trying to take this person down the path of like trying to help them understand, like, oh, so you want nonviolence. And I was going to basically say, but government is violence. Government is force.
Right.
And then I threw in like the Bill of Rights, and he goes, well, just because it's in the Bill of Rights, he goes, well, the founding fathers believed in slavery. Well, the good thing slavery is on the Bill of Rights.
Right.
So it kind of went down, and basically, we got down to this a very important thing that I think a lot of people on the left don't understand. Mm-hmm. Is a gun a tool or a weapon?
Never eaten it.
Now, a gun is definitely a weapon primarily, but it is also a tool. And so this person basically asked me, well, can you build a wall with a gun? And I said,
gosh.
And then I said this, but then I threw it back at him. Can you build a wall with a knife?
Yeah.
Because that's a weapon and a tool.
Yeah.
And
technically you sort of can, but you can hit things with a fucking gun. But the gun will get broken real soon.
A weapon is a tool of defense and also inflicting damage upon someone else. The tool. I mean, so this big thing is it's the double speak. It's the, it means one thing, but they're trying to define it as something else. It is literally a killing machine. Well, a machine is a tool.
Real quick, Amos, I'd like to touch on, because you brought up a point of can a knife fill a wall? Like, people act as if violence didn't exist before guns, like as if like when it was just swords and bows and arrows, like people weren't out there fucking slaughtering each other or trying to conquer the world, or people didn't conquer large chunks of the goddamn world without fucking guns. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
The first
swords.
Yeah.
first reported murder.
Cavemen, they did
Go
the
ahead.
exact same
Mike.
thing.
I want to hear what you said because I heard first reported murder, so I definitely want to hear this.
The first reported murder, at least that we can say is the first
Is Cain?
reported murder, was Cain killed
On record, at
Abel,
least.
and he killed him with a rock.
Yeah. And whether or not you believe the Bible, whether or not you believe this whole passage, you have to believe that the very first murder ever to occur happened without guns. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
But wasn't
can't
it that
deny it.
school that wanted to arm the students with rocks?
Was there seriously? No, please tell me you're joking. That has to be an Onion article or something.
No, it's real.
seriously.
That really they
The kids have to
some,
defend themselves
some
somehow.
Get the
Yeah.
fuck out.
their proposal was to put a 5-gallon bucket in every classroom filled with rocks, and if a shooter runs into a classroom, they're supposed to take the bucket and heave all the rocks at the shooter. But
Oh my
The
god.
kids have to defend themselves somehow. If the left want to remove every ounce of protection and safety, then rocks is all they're gonna have. If the left don't want to remove that too.
So I don't want to get all super conservative and tinfoil hat on you guys.
Go for it, Amos. Let's hear it. I got a pretty good drunk going on, so let's hear it, man.
Well, why are we arming people with rocks? And one of our major concerns is
I just saw the headline and I want to punch somebody in the face.
Here we
Okay,
are.
go ahead, man. Go
Here
ahead.
we are.
After you're done, Amos, I got something to say. So go
I
ahead.
mean, with all this fear of like,
Don't click the DMs then.
I was gonna say, with all this fear of like, Islamic terrorism and all this, and how like Sharia law, all this stuff in different
Fuck
countries.
Sharia law.
But how are we going to how is it then we're going to start adopting archaic methods that have certain religious roots of stoning people? I don't know how
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Before you make your point, I just want to say really quick that my girlfriend is watching, and she sent me a text, and she said that the reason they look scary is because they're black. And she's totally kidding when she says that, but I think now I know where the left is coming from. You're not fooling anyone leftist, you racist SOBs. We know what we know what your actual ideations are here. Just come out and say it.
Oh my god, that about killed me. They're scary because they're black. That is amazing. You have a good woman on your hands. I know nothing else about her, but
do.
got a good
really
sense
do.
of humor. That's awesome. Real quick, before I get back to the retarded rock defense thing,
The rock defense.
Madness had shared something in the group chat on Twitter. It's a David Hogg tweet, and so he says, "Ask me anything." And somebody says, "Could you please post a concise list of the goals of March for Our Lives?" Get ready. 1, repeal the Dickey Amendment. 2, digitalization of ATF gun records. 3, universal background checks. 4, high cap magazine ban. 5, assault weapons ban. One thing I have to say, I will give him props for saying magazine and not clip.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a meme now.
And incredibly
Now
fucking
you can't say assault weapons ban because that assault weapons is a misnomer. It's not an actually well-defined term. It is not a specific
The name.
Yeah, it's not assault weapon
Assault
is not a
weapon.
classification of gun.
Not only
It
that,
is-
but I mean, they can't make up their minds, and it's always changing.
Precisely.
Assault weapon,
Precisely.
assault style weapon, military style weapon, military weapon, weapon of war. They keep changing it.
Well, yeah, you can't use something so you loosely defined as assault weapon in an law terminology. Like you can't be like, we're going to ban all assault weapons, because it's like, well, what do you define as an assault weapon? Because what's already considered assault weapon by politician is so vaguely defined and so minuscule. Like you can just look it up on Google, like assault weapon. Like I don't know what the hell you'd search under, but like it's insane because they're literally like you'll see comparisons side by side where it's basically the exact same weapon, both semi-automatic, but one looks like a hunting rifle, one looks like a military rifle, and it's basically the exact same gun. Now, when they say assault weapon, they're basically saying guns that look scary, and that's it. Which is insane to base actual law off of.
So what we're proposing now is deadly blow darts. Those do not look scary at all.
Okay, how many Nanus, I know when we talked about guns, you said you hadn't shot one. How many of you have fired a weapon where you've had to change a magazine quickly? Like just change a magazine in general, whether or not quickly or not. Amos,
bolt action. So
you've been bolt action. Mike, have you ever had to change a magazine while firing? Like even if it was just practice? Yeah. How long did that take you to change a magazine out?
A few seconds.
Yeah.
I changed magazines at the dentist's office.
No. Okay. But anybody who's fired a weapon, anybody who's slightly familiar with like an AR-15 who has to eject a magazine and put in another magazine, it can take upward, depending on where you store your magazines, it can take as little as 1 second. Like literally 1 second. If your weapon will actually eject the magazine without you having to pull on it, it can take literally 1 second. High cap magazine bans do fucking nothing.
Well, you got to think too that another thing that they would love to ban is the forward grip, which does absolutely nothing. But they would love to ban the forward grip just because it's an accessory.
It's an accessory. I've used both the forward grip and the regular grip on literal military M4.
It really doesn't help that much.
Weapons. It does not help your stability whatsoever. I fired better without the forward grip. I'll be honest. The forward grip, it doesn't provide any actual extra stability. It's just a different. You're either holding your hand like your fist like this or like this, and that's it. That is it. It's a different position for your hands to be. It's more a reason of comfort, to be honest, from what I've experienced and from what I've heard from other people, like special forces people that are actually in the military. It's more a matter of comfort rather than accuracy.
Yeah,
because accuracy depends on your familiarity weapon, not the weapon itself, and not how the weapon's designed. You can have the shittiest weapon in the world and shoot accurate as fuck if you're familiar enough with it. It really depends on how you are with the weapon. So something like a forward grip, exactly like you said, Mike, it's an accessory. And then when you use these accessories is like scare tactics, like the bump stock. The bump stock doesn't turn a weapon into a fully automatic weapon. It increases the rate of fire, but if you got fast enough of a finger, you can make a semi-automatic weapon sound pretty damn fully automatic. Right? Don't tell me. I'm asking my wife about the fully automatic finger. No.
Shotgun.
No, seriously. Sorry, your girlfriend's watching, Mike, so I'm probably really embarrassing the stream. No, seriously though,
I want to have a shotgun.
What was that? I think Chris brought it up. Chris brought it up on a couple live streams ago. There was that article where he was in the military, which makes it even more embarrassing. Where he was shooting like an AR-15, like bam, bam, and then he's like, "Now I'm going to switch over to fully semi-automatic," and it was like bam, 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 bam.
Oh my gosh!
It shows it's dependent on it's dependent. It's dependent on how quick you can move your finger onto how fast you can fire. You can make a semi-automatic weapon sound fully automatic.
I watched that while I was at work, and I was the only one who was there when I watched it. I'm glad I was the only one who was there because I'm watching it. And in matter of fact, it was that part where he said, "Now I'm going to show you what it's like on full semi-automatic." And I'm just smacking my desk because I'm just how are you so stupid? And how did you become an army general? Yes. And how can you pass off fully semi-automatic as an actual thing?
My only excuse is he was an army general. He was an officer, so he might have never even fired an assault rifle to be honest.
Even an officer can't be that stupid, though. I mean,
okay, dude. I have met some retarded. I met this officer. We were there at the range all fucking day because he couldn't qualify with a 9mm. A fucking 9mm. Well, the targets are close enough to throw rocks at. Where Pennsylvania's proposal of throwing rocks at the shooter might have made a fucking difference. Yeah. Hey, that's a good segue. Let's
Rock
get back into
on,
that. Here's the title of the article. Bucket of Rocks is part of defense against school intruders, and I like how they use the word intruders instead of shooters at Pennsylvania District. They intentionally use the word intruders to make it sound more like reasonable. They intentionally use the word intruder rather than shooter. Because if you use the word shooter, any rational person is going to be like, yeah, that makes no sense. That's stupid. You cannot throw rocks at somebody with a fucking gun and be like, yeah, we got him. It's funny how short this article is too, because it's like they couldn't find enough. Like,
if you check my Twitter, I already made a meme about this.
Did you really? I need to check that now. About the rock thing.
Yeah, I said as a solution to the school defense
Clone him.
I said the school will be.
Oh fuck! I just saw it. You've shared it in the thing too. That's fucking great.
Just clone him.
That is so. Okay, I'm gonna share that in a second. But
as
okay.
part of the new defense solution for schools, students will be defended by the rock.
Nice. I love it. That is great. That's great. I'm going to share that. Real quick. Okay. I can't help Hessel, the superintendent. He says media attention over the district's planned response to school shooters has increased our concern regarding the possibility of something that may happen, and says the district will continue to evaluate the situation moving forward. Every classroom in the district with a go bucket as the last line of defense.
Fuck's sake.
Wait,
as the go bucket. That's what they called it. Real quick, as the last line of defense. As the last line of defense in a series of protocols they follow when there's a school shooter. The bucket of rocks is secured in a safe place in each classroom. The teachers and students have prepared and practiced with drills, but they have not actually thrown the rocks.
So
I want to hear this, Amos.
If they're calling it the go bucket, I have a better solution. Just shit in the bucket and throw it at the shooter. It's the go bucket.
Okay, here's the thing. If you got some rocks thrown at you as compared to like a bucket full of shit, which one would you be more like stop you in your fucking tracks? Like
a bucket of shit.
Could you imagine if someone like if a student if you got a gun and you're going through the school and you're intent on shooting people and somebody throws a bucket of shit on you, I would be like, I would immediately stop in tracks, like because like it would be hard to not just be like, wait a minute. What the hell just happened to me? I'm covered in shit.
I would literally not give a fuck.
Just wait.
I have worked on the petting farm. I don't give a fuck. I cannot smell things.
I heard incoming meme. I want to know what's happening.
Incoming meme. Just wait. Give me a couple minutes here. I'll figure this out.
Mike,
what school was this? What school was this again?
Do what?
It was a Pennsylvania school. That's all I heard.
Preview of the.
I don't give a fuck if there's.
I saw some facial expressions in the thumbnail for you. What's going on, man? What do you got?
Oh jeez.
No.
Nothing.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, I saw it looked like you were making some thinking faces, so I wasn't sure if you had something to add to the shit throwing, the bucket of shit, or anything like that.
No.
I will not give a fuck about shit. I will literally not give any shit about shit.
You don't give a shit about shit?
No.
I work at the fucking petting farm, so why the fuck will I care about
Here we
shit?
go.
And I can smell things, so I want to care about the smell as well.
I will say that, as far as like the whole rock bucket thing, that is one of the few solutions I've seen that doesn't involve taking anyone's rights away. So, I mean, that's something.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I can see the leg taking it away as well.
Here's the thing.
Especially because one of the kids liked to bully. So it's like, oh, then someone's going to throw the rocks at me. I'm going to stop that shit.
Here's like, okay, two things that stand out to me. First thing, no, they've done drills, but no one has ever thrown the bucket. Can you imagine the weakest kid in the fucking class coming down to that asshole to throw the bucket? Like he doesn't even know he probably doesn't even know how heavy those rocks are. Second, and I just fucking forgot it. Shit, I was so focused on how stupid
that would probably make a really good Disney movie, though.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Fucking princess throwing buckets of rocks at shooters. Like, Jesus Christ, Disney, get on this. Oh my God.
Or he tags
Send
in a
it to all
tweet.
your live stream.
Or I tagged all of you in the tweet.
I saw that.
I forgot what I was going to say. It's just like, think about it though. Okay. Here's the other thing I wanted to add is, imagine you implemented this the go bucket strategy that wasn't, a bucket full of shit. Imagine you implemented this and you tested it, like even say weekly, where everybody had it fucking down pat. And then your goddamn school shooter is a kid that goes to that school and has participated in those drills every fucking week. How effective is that strategy going to be now? If he knows exactly what you're doing every goddamn day. I feel like that is where the strategy of the students, like the students defending themselves, makes no sense. Like, especially when it comes down to something like a bucket of rocks. If the shooter is a student, or hell, even a staff member at that school, they're going to know exactly what the protocol is. They're probably going to know, like, down to the fucking beat of when that bucket of rocks is going to be trying to be thrown. They're going to know how to avoid it. They're going to know how to, like, trigger somebody, like, throwing it when they're not even there. They're going to know what to do. They're going to know how to, like play that whole scenario out. And, like, to think that a shooter that, like, goes to that school and has all that shit in its mind isn't going to take stuff like that into account is insane. So I feel like those are things, like, where, like, that's where the idea of the rock bucket, like, as ridiculous as it already sounds, ultimately fails. And this isn't just for a rock bucket. This is for protocols of like, something like, there are things I've seen where they're like devices, like you can put them on, and they have like the automatic doors. There's like the little mechanic above the door, and like you can put it on it, like this thing on it, like a cone kind of thing on it, and it prevents the door from ever opening again until that comes off. Like there's these weird little things you can shove under the the gap between the door and the floor that prevents the door from opening. There are things like that somebody from outside the room cannot do anything about. They could fire through the door if they want, but if the students like put that shit on and go hide somewhere in the room, like the chances of you hitting somebody are pretty slim. So there are like actual like preventative measures, even like non-offensive measures, just purely defensive measures that could be taken. That even if somebody went to that school, there's not really a whole lot they can do about it. A bucket of rocks doesn't fucking do a thing. Doesn't do anything in the end.
A bucket of shit will do everything.
A bucket of shit is a better solution any day of the week. I am an official advocate of a bucket of shit defense for schools.
Isn't it funny how there's so many things that that could just be resolved with shit? I mean, right? Did you ever hear about the riot control technology? It's some sort of.
No, tell me about it.
This is like a while ago. Basically, police were testing out this riot control device. Basically, it was a device that would emit some sort of low frequency sound that basically stimulates.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Your digestive tract. It makes you shit your pants.
The brown noise. South Park did a
Operation Brown Spot
so long ago. The brown noise with the I don't know how many watched South Park, but there was that episode where they all had the recorders and there was like that huge like nationwide event, and then they changed the notes to the brown noise, so like everybody watching on TV that night, like the entire nation shit their pants. That was fucking amazing.
I mean, it's funny how some things can just be solved.
It is funny because I wonder which came first, that episode or the police legitimately looking into that. Because it's funny how often real life imitates entertainment. It gets pretty ridiculous sometimes, to be honest. I don't know. It's crazy how that can happen. I honestly, okay, like here's the thing though.
Really close.
I want to know.
Was it the news just came out that the police had that fucking bomb weapon, and then South Park could be like literally in the exact same week because they like in 6 days.
It could have been because South Park, they
immediately made it, so it was getting
like,
really close to each other.
They do make their episodes within a week, so it could have been like they could have announced that in that week. And that been the case.
Once an episode, once.
Here's the thing, though. Like, here's what I want to know: what guy got paid?
South Park is on, by the way. Here. We're talking about it and it's on.
Yeah. Here's what I want to know. Here's what I really want to know. What guy was sitting around in like the law enforcement field and actually got paid legitimate money to come up with the idea to make protesters shit their pants? That's what I want to know. Because I'm like, that guy is a fucking genius. Like, hey, I got this idea. Let's pursue it. And they probably got funding for that shit, like literal shit. Who knows? Who knows? But like, that's what I want to know. Like, here's the thing. When I worked in the government, I have to think about like.
Hey, Amos left.
Yeah, Amos just dropped out. I don't know if he's back. So like, I often wonder about these things. Like whenever there's an idea, there's a guy who is getting paid, and to prolong his job, he comes up with stupid ideas to justify his job being in existence. So I wonder if the like protesters shitting their pants idea was like a legitimate idea, or like, hey, I'm justifying my job being in existence idea.
I mean, it's a pretty shitty idea. But okay.
Hey, you said something about the Roseanne show in the chat. What's up? I didn't see the whole thing.
Well, there was the whole Roseanne Nazi thing, wasn't there?
No. Magnus DM something. I know the last show we talked about.
That basically Roseanne is a bad person because she's voted for Trump. And the people of the show must remove her from the show because she incites hate speech, put that thing false head, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have not seen the show, so I don't know what the fuck is going on there.
Yeah, there's this authentic photograph of Roseanne Barr, who today announced on Twitter that she's taking a break for Passover. She's dressed as Adolf Hitler, taking burnt Jew cookies out of her oven.
Then they see that the person who made the tweet's going to talk about the show.
I don't know how well you guys can see it because the cam. I'm using my wife's cam, so it doesn't adjust very well.
But like joke that she did, but it got her a lot of crap because it's like.
Honestly, here's the thing.
As the person called it at the end of the fucking
on a personal level, I don't like Roseanne Barr. I think she's annoying. I think she's obnoxious. I think a lot of her ideologies are stupid. Her dressing as Hitler and taking burnt Jew cookies out of the oven is actually pretty fucking funny. Like that is edgy comedy.
I mean, it definitely raises the bar at least this high.
It raises the bar. And anybody who's listening,
the person even kind of go say like, "Oh, she have to be kicked off," so it can be like Charlie from the 2.5 Men, Asa Washington from Grey's Anatomy, Columbus Short from Scandal, Kevin Spacey from House of Cards. Completely different reason why the fuck they left. And with 2.5 Men, the show became absolute shit afterwards. So I don't know why the fuck you want someone removed who's an integral part of the fucking show.
It's a power play.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. I've mentioned this many times on different live streams that we've done so far, and the few ones that we've done so far. I feel like as far as comedy goes, I feel like I subscribe to the same ideas as the South Park creators have said many times. It's either all okay or none of it's okay.
They're Republicans, by the way.
Yeah, you don't get to select
Republicans.
You don't get they're libertarian more. You don't get to.
They said Republicans doing Democrat thing, so I don't know.
No, they have a quote saying they hate conservatives and they They hate conservatives, but they really fucking hate liberals.
If anything, they just don't give a shit about.
But they said that they were Republicans.
Yeah, it's not
it doesn't really matter though.
It's not even relevant.
The fact is, they'll make fun of everybody.
Yeah, but the point is that regardless of what they believe, they're okay with making fun of anybody and everybody. And even if, like, regardless of what it is they believe, they would be more than willing to poke jokes at it and make fun of it. Like, they would be more than willing to make fun of anything. There's no topic that's out of limit. Comedy is comedy. Now, when you start taking, like, picking apart what can, like, even regardless of how edgy it is, regardless if it's somebody dressed off as Adolf Hitler taking burnt Jew cookies out of their oven, that's pretty fucking edgy. But yeah, it's fucking comedy. It might be distasteful.
It might. Because one episode they did go a bit too far. It's like with the episode where that ice hockey one, where literally adults going to beat up fucking like.
I love that. I love that ice hockey one, to be honest. That was one of my favorite episodes. No, but like the point is you can't pick apart what is and what isn't acceptable comedy. You can't dictate comedy. It just doesn't work like that. Comedy is not well, what's the word? The comedy can't be like restrained in that way. It just doesn't work. It can't be legislated. Comedy can't be legislated. You just can't do it. Because it's ridiculous. Because then you have one group of people selecting what is funny and what isn't funny, and that's when you become more authoritative, and you just can't do stuff like that. Like we went somewhere else with this a second ago, and then I forgot where my second point was going to go. But that's where I wanted to make a net. Comedy cannot be legislated. I forgot where we were going after that. I got so into that point that I fucking forgot it, but like what came next. But
just saying, in the future, I don't know if you're looking in our chat here, our group chat here.
I was looking a little bit here and there. What's up?
No, I just said, at sometime in the future, I'm definitely going to get a Mao Zedong outfit.
Go do it.
Oh, shit, dude. Okay, I see where you were talking about now. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. Do it and get a picture of it because I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna like wear it for streams and stuff. Because it's offensive. It's offensive to dress up as a Nazi, but how offensive is it to dress up as a communist?
Yeah,
a lot of communists would fucking love that shit.
I thought about
because like want to go fuck you up for that fucking shit. Because they're that dumb.
I thought about dressing up as Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Like, I have the lab coat. I wanted to get. I have the pants and I have the shoes. I have the shoes and I have the belt. I have everything except for like a wig. And I would actually grow out a unibrow instead of like putting a fake one on. I would grow one out in anticipation for a con and then dye it, and then I would like do the whole I would get a wig for the hair and everything.
Get a flask.
I would get a flask. And actually, there's a place that has a prop like of his, not the portal gun, but like the laser gun he uses. And then there's a few other things. I can't remember some of the details I had, but I was going to do all this stuff, and I was actually going to have my son dress up as Morty, and follow me around. But and I was going to be because like I can belch on cue, so I was going to do like this whole bit. Like I was going to go to a Comic-Con, like do a cosplay contest. And like get them to give me the mic and like give like a little like bit of Rick being Rick, and then like do like the belching in between my
your son has to really pull off a good Morty though.
Well, all he was gonna do was stand there, and at the end I was gonna be like, "Come on, Morty," like that kind of thing. That's not my Rick voice. That was a bad one. I just threw that out there real quick. But yeah, I was gonna be like, "Come on, Morty," and then like usher him off stage with me. And I was gonna walk around like I was drunk and everything, but I was gonna do this whole thing. But I thought about like just trying to stay in character the whole weekend and just being as offensive as fucking possible to everybody who wanted to take a picture with me. Like, just find like anybody who wanted to take a picture with me, being as insulting as possible to that person, just to see how like long people would be able to put up with that character. Like, people are like, "Oh my God, he's Rick, let's take a picture with him." And then I'd be a complete asshole in character. And to see if they'd be like, if they put up with it, like, "Oh, he's so Rick." Or if they'd be like, "Yeah, you're kind of a dick, dude."
But the fourth season of Rick and Morty is in jeopardy. It is not certain if the actual will be a fourth season.
Yeah, I think every
Because the
season.
makers are not getting a good contract or something with the
No.
channel.
There's a lot of rumors about that. The creators actually get along great. There's some weird rumors. I don't know what's gonna happen. Even if I feel like every season, if Rick and Morty had ended at that, with the exception of the ending of the first season, where it's a cliffhanger, like at the end of every season, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
What was the end of the first season again?
The end of the first season was the time skip thing, like where they froze time. Actually, I feel like that would have been a good ending. It's the ending of the second season that got me, of where they were like, they ended on a huge cliffhanger of him going to jail. But the ending of the third season, like if they ended it there, I'd be like, yeah, okay, we got a well-rounded 3-season
Not completely.
show.
There's still the Evil Morty is still not solved.
The whole Evil Morty thing is a really interesting plot.
It's not resolved, but here's the thing. I've watched so many shows where they have B storylines that they just never resolve by the end of the show because they didn't get the time. I will always I think me and Madness were talking about this the other day because like the Avengers, the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which it was an Avengers cartoon, and it only ran for 2 seasons before Disney bought Marvel, and then it ended. And I am always furious about that because I'll go back and I'll watch it. And I was watching it recently.
Spectacular Spider-Man. It was an amazing show.
Yeah, well, like the Avengers, the second season, they were leading up to a Civil War storyline, a Ragnarok storyline. They were laying the seeds for all these really amazing, classic comic book storylines, and it ended before they got to do it in the next season. And that always infuriated me because then they replaced it with this shitty ass Avengers Assemble show, which all it did.
This current event show was pretty well. This current one,
I haven't watched it. The Avengers Assemble show, at least the first season, was childish fan service to the movie, and that's all it was, and it annoyed me.
Yeah, the Avengers Spider-Man, that starter shit went better over time, and this new one, I'm like. They want Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, the Spider-Effects all still in the same universe. It is a mess. That's a new one.
But like,
I hate this one more.
Like Avengers Assemble, because even these not Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, even these like B storylines that didn't get wrapped up. Like I can still watch the show and I can enjoy it because it's a B storyline. It wasn't the main storyline, and the B storyline doesn't get wrapped up. I will survive. I will live. The primary storyline of season 3 was Jerry getting back together with his family and like all this, like Rick's whole battle with the government, all this crazy shit. Yeah. So the final episode was amazing. The whole like I'm Doctor Who up in this motherfucker, like that was my favorite line of the whole season of it. Just like when he went completely like the guy touched him and he just collapsed dead. Like the guy's like, what happened? Like he died. Like he didn't even make a sound. He just died. Like Rick was like so untouchable in that scene. And it's funny because like usually it's a character that is so untouchable like that is unwatchable because it's like, well, he can't die. But like they made it so comedically funny that Rick is untouchable. It was fucking so enjoyable to watch. Like people just die by literally touching him. Yeah. So, but like,
what happened? He died. How? Instant.
Yes. Yes. I love it. That's like that is the best. People love the Pickle Rick episode, but honestly, the final episode of the third season was by far the best in my opinion. But like I said, like, you know, I was so satisfied with that ending to the season. Jerry's reunited with the family, and you know, and there's jokes about what could be for the fourth season, but you know, if Evil Morty never gets reconciled, like, if we never get a wrap up for that, I'm fine. I'll survive. I can watch Rick.
Evil Morty in the comics is they can continue in that.
They can continue in the comics exactly, but like I can still watch even if Evil Morty
slightly different universe, but in main sense it is almost identical to the comic show.
Like even if Rick and Morty finishes at season 3 and they never ever do a season 4, I can still watch Rick and Morty season 1 through season 3 and be completely satisfied when I finish season 3. And I feel like that's what's most important. Not being like
the fan base is fucking cancer.
Their fan base has cancer, to be honest.
That
It is
is
so
the most
Has-
fucking the most fan bases.
Has anybody watched? Okay, go watch the "I Hate Everything" video on like I hate the fan base. Like I hate the fans of Rick and Morty and the haters of Rick and Morty. But it's funny because like he makes fun of the cancerous fan base of Rick and Morty, but he also makes fun of the haters.
Did you see Pat's tweet about the Libertarian movie?
I did not. Libertarian movie?
Guy watches haunted movie. Girl tries to crawl out of his TV. He asks her for a warrant. Girl goes back into her well. Guy takes a nap. At the end, the guy takes a nap. Capital NAP.
Was that recent or was that just now?
It was just tonight. He tagged Josie in it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. What's his new Twitter name? I forget because he got like Twitter
Second Class Citizen.
Second Class Citizen.
Because I keep looking. It's the same Twitter handle.
Is it?
Just, he got his shadow ban is over.
Oh, okay. You know what? I actually never knew what his. I'll be honest. I don't know what most people's Twitter handles are. I just know what they go by on Twitter. So whenever I'm trying to like tag them in something, I'm like, oh, fuck, what is their Twitter handle? I'm like, son of a bitch.
People keep misspelling mine.
Yeah. Yours is madness, to be honest. Yours is one of the few people I know by heart right now. Like, I'm like, I suck at some people. Like, I think, honestly, like you three here in the chat, like in the stream right now, are like three of the few people I actually know how to tag you properly without having any troubles when I do a fucking like tag in something. I think you're like three of the very few people I could like I know I'm gonna be able to tag without having to look up. Yeah. That happens to me so much.
Some people keep misspelling mine.
I've gotten the hang of it. I got in the hang of it.
I put purposely an X and D in there because it rhymes better, and some people want to go attack me on that. Like, you cannot even spell your own name right. Like, someone actually fucking did that. Like, try to attack my... Didn't go attack my point, but attack my fucking name. Some people cannot... don't like to lose.
So we're hitting at about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's probably because, like, I got to get up tomorrow and fucking go all the way to goddamn Indianapolis, which is like 2.5 hour drive.
1/4 past
Not
6
even that far, to be honest, but I really... Yeah, probably should be getting to sleep. So,
is it a shithole city?
No, Indianapolis is the capital of Indiana. So yes, it's a shithole city. No, Indiana doesn't have a lot to offer. Like Indianapolis is the capital; it's the largest city in Indiana, and then the second largest city where I live is Fort Wayne. And if you lived anywhere else in the U.S. and have been to like a major city and then came to Fort Wayne and heard it's the second largest city in Indiana, you'd be like, no fucking ways. It's the second largest city in a state. Like it does not look like the second largest city. It's not that big. The downtown doesn't look that massive.
Here in Minnesota, Minneapolis and St. Paul are right next.
Okay, I've been to Minneapolis so many times, and like I could go to Minneapolis and come back to Indiana and be like, wow,
Minneapolis and St. Paul is this? It's two. Yeah. It's the Twin Cities. So that's top two cities.
Like Jason, someone else, the guy like my brother that co-runs the page with me and has been on some of the streams. He went to college in Minneapolis, like in Minnesota. I don't know if it was in Minneapolis, but I remember when I was younger going to vacation in Minneapolis because we went to like the Mall of America and all that bullshit. So I remember how massive of a city that is, you know, and then like compare that to Indianapolis. Compare that to Indianapolis, and anybody would be like, yeah, Indianapolis isn't that big. It's not. I mean, okay, like because when I say that big, compared to like land, I have no idea. But as far as like giant buildings and shit like that, Indianapolis is small on the like scale of state capitals and shit like that.
It's probably still bigger than a lot of cities here.
Yeah, I mean, but like Indianapolis isn't bad. I've been there quite a bit. I've done so many shows there, and to be honest, I'm really looking forward to this weekend because I'm going with my family. I'm not going there to work, so it's just going to be like 3 days of fun rather than 3 days of like, hey, buy my books. So you know, it'll be nice. It'll be so nice. Just 3 days of fun. Kevin Conroy is going to be there. I'm really looking forward to try to meet him. He's the voice. anybody who doesn't know who Kevin Conroy is, he did the voice of Batman in the Batman the Animated Series in the 90s. He did the voice of Batman in 3 of the Arkham Asylum games and a lot of like several of the movies. He is a huge, yeah, like
came back for that movie.
Yeah, I love Kevin Conroy. Like he's done so much.
There is even a more joke video where Kevin Conroy is then like going after the guy who the voice actor Superman, and basically he's then being Batman, and the other guys are being Superman, and then the new voice of Superman is done trying to keep them separate. It's a pretty fun comedical video. It's going to seem everywhere.
Yeah, like Kevin Conroy is a huge part of my childhood, and that's one of those things where like I just want to meet him because of that. But there's like David Harbour's going to be there. He plays Hopper in Stranger Things, and William B. Davis is going to be there, which I kind of want to meet because I mean, like if anybody who watched the last stream knows, I mentioned it quite a bit. That like not quite a bit. Like I mentioned it there at one point. Like an enormous X-Files fan. And William B. Davis was the smoking man in the X-Files. So I want to meet him because of that, because he would be the first person from the X-Files ever I got to meet in person. And, I'm like a ridiculous X-Files fan. And I got my wife into the X-Files. She really wants to meet the smoking man too. So. If I do meet any of these celebrities, like, or any pictures, like I'm going to be tweeting some pictures here and there, like cosplays and just random shit from the. So anybody who wants to know, like, who hasn't been to a convention, I know, Madness, you're one that has. Amos and Mike, have either of you ever been to a Comic-Con of any sort, like any size? No?
No.
Amos, no? Okay, well, follow my Twitter this weekend. I'm going to be tweeting shit all weekend of, like, like kind of the overall convention hall. If I can get some tweets, like pictures with some people I know, like people who write books and stuff, like behind the table, I'm going to get some pictures. I'm going to get some pictures of like cosplayers and all this shit. My kids are dressing up on Saturday. And then on Sunday, because it's Easter Sunday, my daughter's going to be, she's got like these little bunny ears. She's got some bunny gloves and like a little bunny tail. And she's going to be carrying a basket. She's going to be handing out Easter eggs with candy in it to people because it's Sunday. And then, so she's going to be playing the Easter Bunny on Sunday. But yeah, I'll be posting, like starting tomorrow. I think the first show starts at noon for us tomorrow. We're leaving early at some point. We got a hotel. We're going to be staying in India all weekend. So, I'll be posting shit all weekend starting tomorrow to Sunday, all fucking weekend of Comic-Con. So anybody who's curious of what a Comic-Con looks like, this isn't a huge one, but it's run by the same people who do like San Diego and New York Comic-Con. It's like by the Comic-Con people. It's just on a smaller scale because it's a smaller state. But
there are different Comic-Cons.
There's
a Comic-Con here.
It is, as far as like actual Comic-Con goes, and not like gaming conventions like Gen Con. It is the largest comic convention in Indiana right now. Gen Con is like the largest convention in general because that's a game convention that didn't start in Indiana, but it is like massive. But Indiana Comic Con right now is the largest comic convention in Indiana. A few others have tried to compete and have like immediately failed to compete with in Indianapolis. There was this one con, Awesome Con, and it lasted a whole 1 year. We went on Friday, and there was like nobody there. It was fucking empty. It was ridiculous. So yeah, but if anyone wants to see what it looks like, I'll be tweeting all fucking weekend about it.
I sent that video in this chat about that. Then Kevin Conroy's Batman with the other.
I'll try to check out tonight, but I'm probably going to be like trying to get in a hurry to get to bed because
it's like a 5-minute video. It's really fucking short.
It's like 12:30 right now for me, so I'm like, shit, I gotta get some sleep.
Almost 6:30 for me.
Well, yeah, but you don't sleep ever, man. So.
That's true.
I gotta get some rest. So yeah, luckily, okay. Here's the lucky thing for me though. My wife is gonna drive us to Indianapolis tomorrow, so at least I have that going for me. I'm like,
you can sleep in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Or I can play Skyrim on the Switch the whole way. We'll see what happens. But yeah. So you know what, guys? Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Pat, I know you're not here, but thank you so much for joining us. This was a very last minute stream. I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, but
Yeah,
when I was like,
really short on
yeah,
that.
some people were like, are you going to be doing a stream this weekend? Or I'm like, no, I'm not going to be here this weekend. So I thought I'd do a last minute one. The Sunday stream that me and Jason usually do is going to be moved to Monday. I can't remember the specific time.
It's not like there's many live streams this week.
I want to say 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I will for sure tomorrow post specifically what the time is. I'll keep everybody up to date. That's going to be just a me and Jason stream. Occasionally what we're going to do on those streams is bring in one at a time different people so we can like do discussions like one-on-one with people. But for now it's just going to be me and him. Amos, were you about to say something?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Check out Hapa Supremacy.
What do they got going on?
The Hapa Ethno States live stream.
Oh yeah. Okay, if anybody who happens to be any like of my like 30 subscribers that's watching me and hasn't subscribed to Hapa Supremacy on YouTube yet, fucking subscribe to Hapa Supremacy.
They just hit 500. So
yeah, I saw that. I was like, hot damn, they're going good on YouTube. Subscribe to Hapa Supremacy. You have no excuse not to. They're like two of my favorite people ever. They're great people. Definitely follow them. They are honestly the first YouTubers to ever invite me onto a stream, so they'll always hold a special place in my heart for that. Definitely subscribe to them. Subscribe to Chairview. He has me on randomly here and there. Subscribe. Amos, plug your YouTube channel real quick. I want you to do that.
My YouTube channel is Amos Joseph. Mainly we do the Shitlord Preachers podcast, but definitely going to be doing more content.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of footage.
Yeah.
Of like videos I'm gonna be doing, so I gotta edit that.
Yeah, Amos and his partner Brooke had me on their podcast, on their live stream. I don't know if you want to call it a podcast or a live stream. They had me on their live stream, and I really appreciate that too. I like being brought on in different people's stuff where I get to share different aspects of my life and different things relating to sarcasm and liberty. So, you've had Hapa Supremacy on your channel before.
They
right?
were the first guests we had. You're the second guest we've had.
Cool.
No, sorry, third one. And hopefully we're getting Minding Freedom at some point. I know he had something personal life.
Yeah,
so
Freedom's great. I like him. I want to get him on the stream. I think I've talked to him about coming on the stream. He's just really busy, I know, because he's got his own YouTube thing going on.
Well, not just that.
Yeah,
the car accident.
Yeah.
And he's really into that at the moment. Like he did a live stream a few couple hours to explain it. But he's gonna say he's probably not gonna do much this couple days.
Yeah,
it's funny. I went on his stream and he was like, "Hey, have a wrench."
Yeah,
I know that. I was like, "What?"
I lost mine like 3 times under his because he didn't like my jokes. Like one, I keep calling him a beef, and one was like he had that live stream with what's that Bell one or what's the name again?
Okay,
but
real quick.
There was something happening and they're making a joke about Mirko, and I just literally typed in Fear Mirko as one message, and he then claimed like, "Oh, to spam the fucking thing." No, it's one message, just the same words after each other. It's not spamming. And he removed the fucking rent. I'm like, what the fuck? You abuse your fucking power, dude.
Yeah. Real quick. I'll be honest, I haven't been checking the chat today. And we've had somebody commenting. It says G-I-G-I, so I don't know how you pronounce that. G-I-G-I. Does anybody know?
Gigi. That's my girlfriend.
Gigi? Okay. Oh, that's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell her I apologize for not keeping up on the chat today. I usually try to be really good about that, but I do appreciate her comments. She's got some pretty funny ones on there, so I definitely appreciate. Let her know that I do appreciate that.
Chaos Eve had to watch as well. I know that. She said she would.
I saw the no homo thing comment of hers, and I just thought that was funny. I like when people, So, and then here's one going back to the Go Bucket thing. She said it's called the Go Bucket because you go and die now. So I thought that was really fucking funny. I feel bad that I didn't get to the to her comments, so I really appreciate that. Thanks to her so much for watching. And then Mike, personally, I want to thank you. You've been coming on. I think you've been on every one of my group streams so far. You and Madness and Aim, all 3 of you actually. So thank you guys so much for hopping on these streams. I know most of ours have been so far have been very last minute, but I know next week on April 4th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a stream, and that one's going to be on building a better government. It's about how can we build a government that's going to function properly. So if you guys can, and all three of you can make it on there, I would greatly appreciate it. That would be great, because I always appreciate your guys' input. You always have really good stuff whenever we stream together. So I'm gonna call it quits now. But I would really like.
Chaos Eve maybe want to go on, she said, but he wanted to go check this out, his live stream before, so far I didn't get into yet.
You can check out my YouTube.
The other one, what I made a special group with you and her, because she's kind of shy. She sent me personally a message, not into that group one, but I sent that message to you, what she sent to you as well.
Okay. If they want to check out my live streams, all my live streams are on the YouTube channel, the Sarcasm and Liberty YouTube channel. Like, they're all backed up there. So if she wants to see
I said the same thing that you said. He said he's probably gonna go check it out or contact you about it.
As pretty much anybody who's been on the stream can attest, we're very easygoing on here. I don't think we ever have any real giant conflicts or problems. I'm not a very strict host.
Not like Fairfield where people really yelling.
I try to be pretty relaxed. The nights like this, when I'm honestly kind of drunk, I really just don't give a shit. So I'm everybody.
We're not going into internet blood sport.
Yeah. So exactly.
We're not.
I want to have fun with these streams. That part of the whole Sarcasm Liberty mission statement thing is to we want to spread politics. Okay, when I say mission statement, I mean that very loosely, very
a
loosely.
Note somewhere.
Basically, yeah, it's like a scribble on a napkin somewhere. We want to entertain, but we want to have fun too. We want to have fun. We want to entertain while trying to talk politics and stuff like that. So we're never gonna get too crazy on this channel.
About that shit.
I think the only time we're gonna get that way is when we're doing debates, and I have to be moderator, and I might be more strict. But when we're having these group chats like this, it's pretty loose, pretty easygoing. I like having fun on this channel, especially. So
that's most important. We don't want to become like an Andy Worski type channel.
Yeah, I honestly loved Andy Worski's live streams. I've stopped watching them lately. I've just been So, okay, so anybody who wants to check that out, next week, I'm going to keep everybody posted, but so far, unless anything changes, April 4th, which I believe is a Wednesday, we're going to do at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure for positive if we're going to do a Thursday stream after that or not. I don't know for sure. I'll keep everybody posted on that too. But next April 4th, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the Building a Better Government live stream. I'll keep you all posted. You're all in the Sarcasm and Liberty group on Twitter, so you'll all be up to date on everything like that. So once again, I appreciate everybody coming onto the stream tonight. If anybody has any last words before I stop the broadcast, if you want to speak out real quick, if you want to plug anything or anything like that.
Rent is theft.
Okay, real quick, Amos, I'm actually going to be trying to get some AMCOMs to come on the channel sometime, so people can. So people
fucking exist.
Yeah, I want people to ask them questions and stuff like that. So if I do get some AMCOMs to agree to come on, I'm expecting people like you to be in the chat to ask questions. Questions.
Wait till you see me go into debate mode.
Yeah. No, I want to see that. Yeah, I'm really excited for these abortion debates and some of the ANCOM versus ANCAP debates, if I can get that going. If anybody has ideas for good debate topitrix,
ask a few couple females like Sugar Tits have asked, Pete Bailey have asked, FF Black White. You have asked her trans friend, that is a trans female to male trans. I've asked as well. Roaming Millennium I've asked, and Memory said no because the debate for her.
I saw that, and I understand. I would love to have Memory on just one of our casual streams sometime, because I love Mem. She's such a good person. She's got a good soul.
But what I understand for minding, do some good checkouts beforehand, because on her end it fucks up sometimes. Stan had the same problem.
Amos is getting on me now, on my case now. So real quick, I just want to say, if anybody, you guys, all three of you are in my on are in my life are on the Sarcasm Liberty discussion. So if you guys have ideas for like future debates topics that we could do, let me know. Anybody who watches this, go follow us at sarcasm_liberty on Twitter. Tweet at me some ideas for debate topics. We'll get at it.
Again, comments.
You said it was Gigi, Mike. Is that what you said?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being our loyal viewer tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to stop the broadcast tonight because, as Amos has scolded me on, I need to get some sleep. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you guys for showing up on the stream tonight. And have a good night or a good morning wherever you're at.